on, Slackers? It's been a long time. What is up? Can you hear me good? Do we hear the music in the background? I don't know. We got some metal going on. What are you guys up to? It's Rocket Lake time. I know you guys are a little excited for it. You guys been waiting, probably depressed because I haven't been streaming because of it. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say anything about a product when you're not allowed to talk about it. So, what's going on? What's going on, Double Edge? Excited for the stream? I'm excited too. Let me know everything's going good. Gabby Tech, what's going on, Slacker? Getting some refreshments, hydrating. Let's see. Let's pick up some good music. What are you guys in the mood for? Trick question. You're gonna listen to metal. So what is going on, Slackers? Doesn't seem like too much activity is going on here. Oh, so we got this nice thing called Rocket Lake. Rocket Lake. Let's see. Oh, so pretty. But yeah, let me know how the stream's going. Looks like the concurrent is kind of slacking today. But we got Rocket Lake. Yeah, it's 14 nanometer goodness because Intel couldn't do 10 nanometer. Just kidding. Oh, so what's going on, suckers? Can you guys hear me? Make sure everything's good. It's been a while for streaming, so I'm going to make sure everything's going good. It's an early day. To be honest, I was going to try to start at 8 o'clock, and I don't know. The NDA doesn't actually lift till 9, so we're past 9, so we're officially legit. We can talk about Rocket Lake all day long. We got some, probably the craziest amount of IPC improvement in a long time. It's kind of weird though, what Intel is releasing as far as they're releasing an 8-core and not like a newer 10-core. And it's kind of wild actually. If you do some testing, I don't know how many videos you guys have been watching. You guys are probably getting a little bit, I don't know, crazy with all the Rocket Lake stuff that's probably coming up right now. So, what I think we're gonna end up doing today is basically, I got some liquid nitrogen. We're gonna end up now. I haven't. Let's give you forewarning. I have not tested this on liquid nitrogen before. It seems my chip is probably not the best silicon lottery chip. I basically failed the silicon lottery. My chip needs a lot more voltage than probably a lot of the overclockers chips. This is a media chip, so it's kind of expected. You got to remember, a lot of the overclockers get chips from the manufacturers that are pre-bin, so they'll get hundreds and hundreds of chips. So, yeah, I got one chip. I got a media sample, which is pretty cool. I don't know if you guys have checked this out. I know I put up pictures and stuff of it, but Intel does some really cool stuff, as well as AMD does when we release stuff. So, we got everything's falling apart actually. Yeah, so you can see here we got the 11900K, which is actually not in here, and then we have a 10600K. I haven't really thought about what we're gonna do with the 10600K yet. We're not gonna do too much with it today. We're gonna end up probably doing some videos later on it. Our main focus is gonna be the 11900K. So, yeah, the 11900K. So it's basically an 8-core. I don't know. We went down from the 10-core to the 8-core. From what I was told from Intel, we did a lot of questions for media, and we were basically talking like, okay, why did Intel decide to focus on an 8-core versus a 10-core? So their direct question back was because AMD decided to push the 5900X. So if you notice in a lot of the media, AMD talks about their processor, the 5900X, as being the fastest gaming processor there is. So Intel media basically decided to go after that 8-core area, which is interesting because you're basically comparing it to I don't know, something that has more cores. So multi-threaded, there's really not that much of a chance between Rocket Lake, so it's kind of a weird area. But when you get into gaming, it's a little bit different. Now the big thing about Rocket Lake is the single core performance. I don't think we've really seen this big of a performance jump as far as for single core in a long time. So it's actually really impressive. They say about 20% You'll probably see around, depending on whose videos you're watching and which games you test, or you can, or what you're actually testing. It doesn't necessarily have to be a game, but you can see anywhere from 20% to more improvement in a single-threaded type of situation. Now, when you get into the multi-threaded situation, this is where AMD is pretty much king on that. But it really depends on what you're going for. So, let's see. It says Intel needs to step up their core counts. So, this is the interesting part. So when we asked the Intel directly of why did you do 8 core versus why didn't you throw another 2 cores? That way you had 10 cores just like the 10900K. And from what they said is that there wasn't enough room. Because what they did is they actually used the 10 nanometer IP on the 14 nanometer process. So the reason they said they did that is because the clocks that they were getting on 10 nanometer was not as high and it was not as mature as it was on the 14 nanometer process. Now, since you're taking a process that's built on a smaller node, it's going to take up more space if you're using a 14 nanometer versus 10 nanometer. So they basically said that they ran out of room, so they can only fit 8 cores in there. Now, if you look at it, the actual design architecture, it's pretty interesting because it almost looks like one of the other questions we came out above that was okay, we have integrated graphics. Now, if you take that integrated graphics out, would you have room? And then they kind of went back and forth and basically, well, we wanted to go on 8 cores because that was to focus on the 5900X. So it's pretty interesting. Remember, this is not 10 nanometer, this is 14 nanometers, so they're basically, their reason is that they don't have enough room on the chip. So, which is kind of, I don't know, I kind of consider that more of a cop-out than anything. But still, the single core performance is pretty epic inside Rocket League. So, what this is going to do is this is going to open up certain applications. Now, if you're a normal gamer, you're going to have improved gaming, but if most guys are not really just doing gaming. I know for me myself, well, I'll do a variety of things. They're going to be editing, you're going to be transcoding, you're going to do gaming, and then we're going to just do a bunch of different stuff. So I'm pretty much I do a lot of different things. So I don't know. The Intel part, I don't know. It's kind of one of those things where you could go either way, but the availability is probably going to be stronger on the Intel chips than it is the AMD chips. So it's pretty interesting stuff. So, let's see. Voice in left channel only. Something's probably messed up. Let me just double check. Let's see if it's going on in the... I'm not going to play too much with it. Let's see. I'll mess with sound a little bit. So what are you guys up to? What do you guys think of the new Intel chips so far? What have you seen from videos? What do you like about it? We're going to do a bunch of stuff today. I'll basically just show you over this up. So here's camera B over here. So you'll notice we're running the Gigabyte. I don't even know how to say it. It's Taiyan. I don't know. It's funny that these motherboard manufacturers what they come up with. But this is Gigabyte. This is High Cookie's board. So he put in. Well, he's not really in charge of the naming, but he put all the actual overclocking efforts into it to try to make a solid board. So we have a board set up. We're just going to use a 1070 there because we're going to do some CPU benchmarks. So what we're going to end up doing is going through and testing pretty much the single core performance. I have a bunch of benchmarks that we can run, and we're going to just do some liquid nitrogen. Now, we're not going to break any records or anything like that. Like I said before, the silicon lottery on this chip is really not the greatest. This is good, pretty much like an average chip. This is something that most average users, if you went and bought one at the store, would most likely get. Again, it's not like an overclocked one. The Slacker is finally back. Thanks, Stig, for the 20 bucks, man. Oi, voice and left chat. I know I gotta fix the voice level, or the left voice issue. I had to change a little bit of the stuff to get it working. I don't know why that it actually changed over to one channel. Let me just give me 1 sec, because I know the setting for some reason that it wasn't saved. So let me just bang right there. So let me know how that is. That should be 2 channel now. It's weird how you have to go through all the setup and do audio, so just bear with me. Let me know how it is. Now the songs were just to give you guys an idea, so the audio that we're listening to is from Epidemic Sound. I pay for them monthly, and that way I don't have to worry about copyrights, because when you're doing YouTube and stuff like that, it's kind of difficult to, I don't know, deal with all the copyright stuff, and it's kind of a pain in the butt. So, yeah, so this is Epidemic Sound. This is a guy from a band named, I think, Tainted. It's Red Revision or something like that. I don't know if that's the opposite. So, but there's a lot of metal in this, so I kind of like it. So, yeah. So it looks like our audio issue is fixed. But what we're going to do is we're just going to pretty much wing this one. I haven't had too much chance. I was trying to set up everything. We have like a whole new look here on the stream, so setting up all the cameras and stuff does take quite a bit. I didn't get enough time with the board. But yeah, so we're going to end up clocking a bunch of stuff. So I guess, I don't know. What do you guys want to see first? Recommendations. So you know, we're going to be using what's called Benchmate. So Benchmate is definitely probably, I was going to say the best overclocking bench tool, which I would say is correct, but it's the only one too, so, I mean, if you're the only one, you're the best. But it's actually really quite cool. I highly recommend it. If you want to get into benchmarking, you want to play around, using Benchmate is pretty darn cool. So, but the other thing I wanted to talk about, so one of the biggest things that I was trying to figure out, when it came to this release is, what can I show you guys? What is different than pretty much what everybody else is going to show you, right? Because everybody's going to show you basically a bunch of benchmarks. People are going to show you gaming, just charts based upon things. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to sit down and pretty much talk about the architecture, talk about pretty much what Intel's doing right now with this release, and I don't know. And I figured the best way to show you is just pretty much setting up the test setup, putting a little bit of liquid nitrogen on it. We can run some kind of basic water. We'll do something that's maybe kind of like ambient temps, where I can just sprinkle the LN2 and it keeps it around ambient. And then what we can do is move it on, push it colder, and then start pushing it for real. So see how far we can go. Like I said before, I have not touched this board on LN2. I've heard there's some issues, so we might run into issues with memory clocks if we're higher up. When you start getting into cold, like crazy cold with liquid nitrogen, you start getting funny things that happen. So I don't know. It could be interesting. We're using here. I'll go over to the setup. You can see my setup over here. It's a lot different than in the previous setup. So, what we have here is we have Gigabyte's new Z590. It's TACHYON. The names they come up with some of the times is pretty funny. But yeah. So we have the new Z590 board from High Cookie. High Cookie, if you don't know who he is a famous overclocker. He's been benching for Gigabyte for years. I used to be sponsored by Gigabyte a lot for overclocking when I used to do it professionally. So we would basically go over to Taiwan and go into the Gigabyte OC lab and work with Cookie and do a lot of benchmarking, all sorts of crazy stuff. But yeah, so so this is the first time that he's pretty much working on a board that he's very happy with. A lot of the times he moved from a role from marketing into engineering, so this is kind of a different step for him. So, but what's different about this board is you're gonna see that, and I always see people complain about this all the time, is the 2 DIMM slots. So one of the reasons why we do the 2 DIMM slots, just so you know, is basically for memory clocking. So one of the biggest, I didn't really actually go over this, but one of the biggest advantages of the newer Intel platform is actually memory overclocking. So it is a world better than the 10900K in a lot of aspects. And compared to AMD, it's a little interesting too. But you can do a lot of different things with memory now. Not a lot of different things, but you're gonna be able to push the clocks higher. So what this is what you're gonna end up seeing is you're gonna see a bunch of records when it comes to frequency, memory performance for the 8-core section. If you go to HWBot is where all the records are kept. So it's divided up by core, so it's kind of interesting. It's not like you're gonna have a bunch of world records for multi-core. Basically, this chip's gonna be better for single core performance. So when it comes to single core, the single core benchmarks are where this chip is really gonna shine. We're talking about like 20% improved IPC just for single core performance. So now for gamers, you're gonna see a decent jump, but the real main part is for benchmarking is single core performance, which so things like 32 SuperPi 32M. I don't know if you guys know too much about this, but this is one of the most, like, I would say, legendary benchmark programs. It's pretty much the first benchmark program that's been around where almost everybody started on. So there's a ton of them, a ton of benchmarks out there now, but this was like the OG of benchmarks, SuperPi 32M. And what's really crazy about Rocket Lake is that it's so good in 32M. So if you took a 10900K and you compared it to 11900K, and this is just single core performance. A lot of the times overclockers will do like we'll take like a base test, right? So 5 gigahertz, 46 on core, 4800 mem. We usually test that to get pretty much our efficiency down, and then we get it ready for liquid nitrogen, and then we do pull down. So for years, we've been doing this like 5 gigahertz test where you would see from like 9900K, the 10900K to the 11900K. And basically with the 11900, there's a huge change from the 10900K to the 11900K. Most of the time we were in like the 5-minute 50 range. What this does is SuperPi 32M is basically, it calculates pi, because if you ever look at pi, the calculation of it is basically infinite. So what this program does is basically run pi until the 32 millionth integer, right? So how long does it take to be able to do that? So from 10900K, or at the 10900K, we're running about 5 minutes, 50 seconds, something like that, just to get it on an average. And this is on a tweaked OS. We're talking Windows XP, not Windows 10. And one of the biggest problems and why you don't really see 32M that ran that much, like to a normal user, is that most of it, so you really needed Windows XP to run it. What's really cool about this new setup now is that Windows 10 can actually run 32M and be close to even doing a world record, which is very different than how it used to be. But because of Benchmate and the combination of Windows 10 and the IPC improvement from the 11900K, now that you could pretty much get close to a world record on Windows 10 now. So what this does is this opens up to having 32M on Windows 10, and now you can bench Windows 32M on your Windows normal PC, which is, in my book, pretty awesome, because trying to get Windows XP to set up on a newer platform that the support ended for Windows XP. So basically, it's good to see that that's actually getting phased out, and then you're basically, yeah, I say basically all the time, so get used to it. So basically, yeah, 32M is now Windows 10 good. So I don't know, it's kind of crazy times. So when I was trying to figure out what to bench, I figured 32M is one of those that we can actually bench. So, alright, so yeah, like I said, we have the platform over here. I didn't even realize I was talking to the other one, but anyway. So yeah, so I think we're just gonna get started and start playing with it. I just gotta pour some liquid nitrogen, so bear with me. But yeah, and then we'll start firing up a setup. So, let's see, let's go over a couple things. Don't mind me, I'm gonna try to mess with audio, because this is one of those things. I know it should sound pretty good. This mic is awesome, by the way. So, but yeah, so let's get some liquid nitrogen pouring. We got 2 flasks and a bunch of juice. Now, the nice thing about benching this platform is that we actually don't go through that much liquid nitrogen. Like if we were gonna bench the 3090, we go through like 30 liters in a matter of like no time. So it's a little bit, it's kind of nice that you can talk and do stuff at the same time, other than just focus on benching. So that's pretty much the big plus about it. Let's see, so we're going to shift some things around. We got some liquid nitrogen flow in. We need to turn on our temp meter. And, the audio. I just got to move a couple things so that way I can see your questions and everything. So make sure that audio is nice and crisp. We're going to move some things over. How's the music going? You guys digging it? Platform shot was really cool while you were talking. Nice. It looks like I didn't mess up something. Would like to know how. Let's take some questions. All right, so let's see. Music is a wee bit overpowering. Oh, come on, it's not that bad. I think from the sound, it looks actually pretty good. So. Let's see, maybe we'll change it in a little bit. But what do we got? It says, would like to know how the IMC is, because the new AMD chips basically can't do more than 4,000 megahertz with 1-to-1. Well, like I said before, the big part of this is the memory overclocking. That's what you've got to do. Go Getsko, you're so fire, bro. I'm such a big fan. Well, thanks, broski. I don't know how you say your name, but Go Getsu? I don't know. George Mitchell, Benchmade is awesome. Sure, mics are the best. You ain't kidding. Let's see. Thumbs up for the Slacker. What mics is that? Mic is that? It's the Shure. I always forget the name. It's the SM7B. I gotta be careful because if I talk too loud, it's like so good. It filters out all the bad noise and gives you all the goodness, the Slacker goodness. So anyway, let's switch it up around a little bit. I gotta move a couple views because I'm not used to doing it. Change the screens around a bit. I want to have a good mix here. I don't know if you guys can hear. Just give me 1 second. Let's see. We'll do that one. When we boot up the machine, so you can see a little bit what's going on. I'm gonna have to put some coolant in there. So we're at about 29C. Thumbs up for the Slacker. You guys gotta get them likes up. You guys are slacking this time, not me. Stop slacking and start benching. First stream of yours I've seen in a hot minute. Very exciting. Yeah, I hope you guys like it. I know it's been a while. It's been tough, man. Working. You guys gotta remember that I've been working like 20 years in information security. I can't even say it. Information security. So the problem with my job is that it's pretty much so time consuming that at the end of the day, imagine doing like, I don't know. Think about it in like high school when you had a math quiz and like you're like, oh, I gotta like study all day, and then like you take that quiz and then at the end of the day you're like completely wiped. That's pretty much how my everyday is. So it's very tiring to work InfoSec all day and then come in and try to do some videos and stuff. I'm working on it. I also have an 8-month-old, which is a little difficult at some time. And let me make sure this is coming through. Okay. So let's just switch the view a little bit. Once we get in here. way you can see a little bit better. Alright, so we're doing some basics here. Now, like I said, my chip is not the best. I was actually amazed to hear from a couple other people on how good their chips were. Mine, it was not the best. I needed around like 1.39 volts for 5 gig, 46 Encore. You'll see right here my settings. So this is my base settings. So I'm at basically 5 gigahertz. You'll notice that Encore, it's very similar, like hash, like the old one. You're basically using regular CPU voltage for both of them. So when you want to push that, mine apparently needs, for that 46, it needs a lot of voltage. And compared to other chips, that's where my chip is kind of slacking. So, alright, hey, chicken clocking or flooring? No, we're totally chicken clocking this time. Hope you guys didn't have an exchange server at work. You heard about all those security issues, huh? It's funny, I used to run exchange machines, some fairly large, big exchange systems years ago. I don't really do that one that much anymore, so. I do, I can't talk about it too much. Alright, so, I was actually just playing around and testing a little bit, so we're just going to go back to my base profile and just roll with that. Plug this in. So let's see, we'll go over some more settings. What is our temperature at? We're at 14C. Well, where our DRAM is about 1.96. Could be recommended going around 2 volts, but with Samsung VDI, I don't know what it is, but some sticks are very, very temperamental. Like, you have to have the right temperature, you have to have the right voltage. If I did anywhere like near 2 volts, depending on the clocks, it just didn't like them. So, so we're running around 1.96 VCCIO. VCCIO is pretty much pointless from what I was told on this platform. I tried messing around with it. Not much. So apparently they have a VCCIO 2, and now this is where, like, this is like your IMC voltage. So basically, if you're gonna try to get 4800, I had issues doing 4800 until I actually bumped this up. So auto, I think it was about 1 volt. Me pushing it up to about 1.2 is what this chip needed. So the more you start pushing these other voltages, you got to remember is also it's going to increase the temperature of the processor. So you want to kind of have a good balance of it. You want to kind of be careful, because really what is the main point behind Rocket Lake is balance, right? So you're getting really high clocks or really high IPC performance. You're balancing it with a number of cores. I feel like, truthfully, that the reason why they can't do a 10 core is probably there's too much heat. Because, I mean, this thing is running pretty hot. I would say pretty much the equivalent to an AMD chip. It's not like it's either hotter or really much colder. Oh, I know your pain, bro. I'm an IT analyst as well. I know it's a tough life, isn't it? Especially if you have, was it Patch Tuesday, man? That one's no fun. Oh, I hope you guys didn't have, blood for blood, got skull for the skull throne. 14C is hot. That is not hot. How is 14C hot? See, now we're at 24C. So, metal overclocking, 11900K. If this beats 5800, it could be an option. But really, do we want to be careful? I like bum wires. I like it. You don't have to be careful. What fun is that, right? You're only pushing it. You gotta avoid that warranty and break things. Remember what I always say, right? You're not pushing it hard enough if you don't break it, right? So let's go over a couple more settings. Just show you some basics, and it looks like we hung. So this chip needs needs cold temps, needs a bunch of stuff to be able to run. It's kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of, for a reviewer chip, you gotta remember, for being an overclocker, we're used to getting like really good bin chips. So a reviewer sample is not really the same thing. So it's kind of more of like average. So give it the beans, bro. Headbangers hardware. Ooh, I like that. Let's see. So what temp are we at? 6.2. Let's see. We had 5 gigs. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to fix the V port. So that's why it's not running. So this chip needs really high V-core, which is kind of disappointing. Whoa, not that high V-core. So about 1.39. Now I was testing this on the EK Cryo Cooler. One of the things, so I'm gonna end up putting up a video next week about the EK Cryo Cooler. I was gonna do something for the release on the EK Cooler, but the problem is Intel didn't actually have the drivers ready to be able to use it. So it was kind of pointless for me to kind of show off. So what I ended up doing is I actually hard modded the EK Cryo. So, but I figured that would be a good on the video itself. So just make sure you pay attention, and we'll have that for next time. So, but yeah, you can hard mod it so that way you can actually have it cold when you're booting up, so that way you can get higher mem clocks and stuff. I hate when they do automatic repair. Alright, so drinking green tea and tastes good helps you the energy to overclock. Temp Gen already has got big price cuts. Does the board have a safe boot button? Oh, actually, yes. The board does have a safe boot option, so next to the power, you can't really see it. I can't really take the camera to show it. But there's a button where I can basically hit it. And what it will do is it will go to its default box, and it will boot right, and actually go right into the BIOS. I'll show you guys in a second, but let's kind of go over and make sure that this is yeah, so you guys can see. I want to make sure you guys can actually see what I'm doing. Gonna go for 7 gigahertz slacker. So I'm not so sure if this thing's gonna actually be able to reach 7 gigahertz. So I don't know. I guess we'll try. I heard there was some issues, but who knows? So let's see. So let's play around a little bit, kind of check things out. So this is the new version of Benchmade. So I'm a pretty big fan, especially since I'm able to run SuperPi 32M now, which was, I don't know. I have not run 32M like on a regular platform in probably, I think it's about 10 years now. So a long time ago, I think it was when Sandy Bridge came out. I ended up breaking the world record for SuperPi 32M. It didn't last long because new chips were coming out and stuff like that, but it's got to be around 2011, about 10 years ago. Just shows you how old I am. Yes, I know, all the crack. Come on. This beard? Oh man. Have you ever watched Metal? I can't talk. It's too early for me to talk. So, Joker, no, I have not previously watched that. So, but anyway, so if you're new here, make sure you like and subscribe. We're going to be doing a bunch of cool stuff on the 11900K. We're going to be doing just a bunch of cool stuff in general. So, I'm kind of branching off and doing into more just tech in general, not just overclocking, but pretty much a wide variety of things. I like to avoid warranties on everything. I break electric skateboards, I break everything. I wish I need to go over there. Dinos! If you know what Dinos is, or Dino, or Dinos, whatever you want to call him, that's just the name. You just It's kind of weird with this setup, trying to figure out like where you're going back and forth. So one of my favorite things is SuperPi 32M. It's actually relevant on Windows 10, which is huge to me. To be honest, it's one of the benchmarks that I don't feel like a lot of people run it enough as they should. With Benchmade, it's allowing us to basically run on Windows 10, and it runs like really quick. If you look right here, you can see that my 5 gigahertz score, a 10900K was basically at 5 gigahertz, running around almost 6 minutes. Give it about 10 seconds to like maybe 15 seconds, but you're talking about these not crazy tweaked 32M on Windows 10 on 11900K. The same clocks, we're talking almost like 40 seconds quicker. So that just goes to show you how much faster the single performance is. Someone did overclocking up to 7.3 megahertz. Yeah. So when you see something like 7.3 megahertz, gigahertz, yeah, that's actually kind of wrong. So it would be 7.3 K MHz. But yeah, that's not really running too much. 7.3 is probably running more like a CPU Z benchmark, where we're actually pushing it up and pushing it up and pushing it up. We'll do that as soon as we can start getting real cold. I just want to keep it not too cold, but decently cold. Oh, it's minus 40 already. So let's do this. I gotta turn the heater on. We want to try to have this session so it lasts a decent amount of time because we have high humidity here in Florida, and it's kind of a pain. It's one of the reasons why benching can get quite frustrating because of it. So I'm going to keep it around the minus 50 range, and we're just going to start playing a little bit. So, let's see. So we have one of my most favorite programs from Overclocking is GTL. They don't really do it anymore. They don't really create this program. It's GTL is Gigabyte Tweaker Launcher. It's been around for a long time. I would say it's probably one of the first OC applications that's slimmed down and straight to the point. To be honest, I wish a lot of manufacturers would do this with their programs. I know Asus does them now. They did it after Gigabyte. But like ASRock, EVGA, any of those guys, they need to be able to do it. So. Yes, this is live, so we're slacking. We got about 80 concurrent, and you guys only have 41 likes. It's kind of messed up, but just kidding. But yeah, so we're at 5 gigahertz. I feel like I'm just gonna start pushing the core up a little bit. We're already high on voltage. I figure maybe we'll go to like 145. We're already cold, so we might as well push the voltage a little bit and quit chicken clocking so much. LLC is already set to extreme. There's not too much you really have to do. It's kind of like the other Intel platform. There's probably something that I need to do, but I just haven't done to run this. So let's see. I'm just gonna do like a base run. 32M. You'll see that it actually goes and it takes a decent amount of time to run. I just want to make sure it works so we don't have any like memory issues. Oh. That doesn't look good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit that button, that safe mode button. And what that's going to do is it's going to boot up in the BIOS. When are you going to overclock something? I don't know. I got to talk. It's not all about overclocking. No one really cares just about overclocking. It's about the beard. The beard. See, Dino doesn't realize that it's all about the beard. He doesn't have a beard. I don't even know if he can grow a beard. Poor guy. Let's see. Alright, so what's cool about it is I can hit one button. So there's a white button right basically by the power button. You have a reset button and then you have like a retry button. Or sorry, you have a retry button and then like a safe mode button. Where's the older CPU overclocks? Do Athlon. Yeah, I'm gonna do an Athlon on release day for Rocket League. Rocket League, yeah. Guys are killing me. Oh, good day, Joe. It's 12:53 a.m. and Steve will have to wait for me to watch his review. So make sure you watch his review because it's always usually good. He's a great tester. All right, so let's see what happened here. See if we have anything else that we gotta set up. I'm gonna just go through some settings so you can see. I have a beard. It's blue and sparkly. I'm not even sure I want to know that. But anyway, so it seems like I got doomed with this chip. It's not that really good of a chip, not at this point. Let's see. Base clock, 100, load line count, extreme. That's what I want to do. So one of the things you got to be careful for is when you basically change, if you kill cores, like so if I only give 4 cores to the OS, for me, and just even for the board, when I'm cold, if I actually set that from like 4 to 8, I have to basically do a cold boot. And it's not really the greatest thing to do when you're running liquid nitrogen. Because what it's going to do is it means you got to heat up and then it just sucks. Alright, real men wear beards. Whoa, real men wear. Real men grow beards? Is that how it works? This is the only YouTuber worth tuning into. Isn't that the truth? I was still hoping for a Tiger King haircut. So, I don't know if you guys know about who Tiger King is, but yesterday was funny. So, if you guys want to support the channel, Patreon's a good way to do it. We have a Discord server that you get access from joining Patreon. And it's kind of funny because a friend of mine saw Carol Baskins yesterday. So they ended up sending me a shot. And we had this big whole joke going on that, I don't know, it would be pretty funny to see me with a mullet. I'm not going to lie. It'd be pretty cool. But I just don't have enough hair to be able to do that. Oh, by the way, use L2 switch when you get cold, and if you run into a sea. Oh, yeah, I know. Which one is the L2 switch for? This is what happened. So I haven't told you guys, but getting older kind of sucks. So my eyes have been going lately. So I need to go to the eye doctor and kind of get my eyes checked out because I've been having a lot of, even with soldering and stuff. It's why I've been kind of going away. You need to bump sustained voltage to 155. See, Dino is a pretty good overclocker. I've known him for years. It's kind of funny. I actually remember when I did that 32M and I was like, come on, Dino, give me some tips. This is like 10 years ago. And he wouldn't give me any tips. It's kind of funny. Let's see. Let's go through some of the voltages, make sure everything's right. Enhanced. Go here. Don't really need that. Let's see. Just go through your voltage, just make sure. Feel VCC sustained. 1.55. Alright, we'll try that. I'll let you. Salute from Malaysia. What's going on, Joe Johns? Alright, slackers, you guys need to bump up them likes. Make sure you like and subscribe. Join Patreon if you want to support the channel. You get access to Discord. Hey, you might even see Carol Baskins in there. Alright, so we'll try that. Right now, we just seem to, it's not wanting even to run at all, which is kind of strange. We're at minus 48 degrees on the pot. Actually, might as well talk about the pot a little bit. So this is Devourer's Beast pot. I was able to pick up one. To be honest, I've wanted to use this pot for a long time. They're very hard to get, very expensive at the time. I was able to pick one up from a friend, so I'm pretty stoked about that. It's probably one of my favorite pots, with basically for the mainstream platform. It is a really good engineered pot compared to, like, say something. It's not as basic as, say, like a Kingpin cooling pot where it's just drilled from the top. You're getting it from the sides. And, it's pretty cool. Let's see. Yeah, it's not liking it. So I'm wondering if I have that issue with. So I was reading about an issue on. We were having it. If you get too cold, you might not be able to do memory so high. So it looks like I'm having that issue because training is not working whatsoever. Says VCCI 2 is IMC voltage on cold, probably 1.5, 1.6. I've been only trying on 1.2. So let's see, let's play. See, one of the nice parts is when, especially for the Gigabyte guys, we used to bench all the time together and we always get advice and throw it around, which is always fun. So let's try like 135 and see if this will train. And what I mean by train is, so when you first boot up and you're trying to, come on. So basically what happens is when you first do a settings, and what it does is there's algorithms that go and basically goes through memory to train. Yeah, it's not letting me train that. Oh. I don't know, maybe we'll rise the volts up a little bit. Yeah, VCCI 01 is for 10900K. You found 1 point. I don't know. I think I just have a strange chip because it's been doing weird things. I probably should just pull the chip and see what's going on. Says I turned 50 on March 1st this year. You know how it feels getting harder to see. Yeah, it's one of the things. Like it's really hit me hard since I turned 40. My eyes are really not that good. I mean, I've worn contacts for like 20 years now, 25 years at least. Like 20 years. 20-something years. So let's try this. So VCCI2, let's try, we're already at minus 50, so it shouldn't be that problem. One crazy part about this is how fast this pot is. Like I said, it's drilled from the sides and from the top. So what it's doing is giving you basically a more surface area. So when the basically more surface area for the liquid nitrogen to be able to, I don't know, cool down the pot itself. So the more surface area you have, the quicker the cool down, or the quicker that it will actually soak into the pot itself. And I can't train for anything. Let's see, what do we got? Mac, hi, what's up, Slacker? So let's just bring cold. Maybe we just need some temp. Because we're not able to train at all. I just keep on getting IA, 4C, and then it just loops. IA, 4C. So something in training with memory is not happening for me. That's the one thing that I don't like about doing liquid nitrogen first session live. You always end up running into issues, but I feel like you learn the most. Let's see, I was a printer for 30 years, so really gave my eyes a hard time. Yeah, they always told me, basically from working on a computer all the time, my eyes are going to go bad. So basically working 12-hour days and always looking at the computer, my eyes are shot. So we're at 89, minus 89 degrees. We're finally getting some booting action here. I don't know if this went to safe mode or if this is actually booting, so let's see. So we're at minus 100 degrees Celsius. Let's check. Sometimes what happens is if you fail and over and over and over again, it basically goes into like a safe mode. So let's see what CPU-Z is doing. Slacka, Tulius. Yeah, I did test it on air. This chip is not the greatest on air. So if you look at that 5 gig, we got voltage about 1.37. We're running basically 4800. The Uncore or cache is at 4600. We're running gear 2. We are running 14, 13, 13, 28, 260, 1T. So it's strange, Dino. Basically what's happening is I wasn't able to train unless I go to about minus 100. So it's kind of wild, actually. So I'm just going to do some chicken clocking. I got the heater turned on, so I got the KP cooling heater under there. This is what I call a tech barbarian. No need a nerd, guru, extender, rock on. I shook my head off here, pass out. Minus 100 degrees. Dang, boss. Yeah, it's fun to do it. I don't know, I'm too used to going cold anymore. Let's see. So let's see if we can do super... Oh, hold on. Before... I'm not really trying to go for... I'm just trying to show you guys some cool stuff and what you guys can learn and you guys can play too if you ever want to get into benchmarking. Now, you don't have to go fully cold. You can always run on air and getting less clocks cold. I had similar issues getting less clocks cold on memory. Yeah, I thought I saw something on yours talking about that, you know. That's why I was curious to see. It looks like I can't train unless the chip is at minus 100. I've had a lot of issues, like it needs a lot of voltage for to even run like 5 gigs and 46 Uncore on air. Like I needed around 1.39 set with a high LLC just to even get SuperPi 32M to run. So SuperPi 32M is very like cache based. It's in the processor. Very memory intensive. So it's going to be pushing the processor pretty hard. So it's just doing basically in between. Like it's going with Benchmade. It's a little bit different than if you're on 32M on Windows XP. On 32M and Windows XP, you would basically go per core. Find out what the best core is, and what I've noticed with Windows 10 and 32M, not actually picking the designated core actually scores better. I don't know if that's a fluke from when I was doing on air testing, so I don't know. Could be interesting. Chicken clocks for the win. Hey, chicken clock shirt. See what I did there? Huh? Yeah. So it looks like we're running. What I'm gonna start doing is like I want to finish this pass. Make sure the temps are good. It'd help if I turn the meter on. So we're at minus 100. I'm just gonna keep it at minus 100 now. But like I said, this is not something that you do like trying to break records and stuff. Can I be your ophthalmologist? Bugwires, you can if you want. I don't know where you're going with that, but I'm a little scared. But have you heard about the Gear 1 and Gear 2 on new chips? I think you're running Gear 2 right now and probably should change it to Gear 1. I'm not sure. So usually with liquid nitrogen, what we'll do is we'll test both ways. So it could be a possibility where if you run Gear 1 might actually work better. But the performance might actually suck, or the performance might be better. I don't really know until I have to test it. And so this is basically my first liquid nitrogen session. So what's going to end up happening is I'll end up doing one session, then another session, then another session, then another session. And I like to change things up. So I usually get a base, start from there, and then I start tweaking stuff over and over. I love how Dinos goes, no, right away. No, so the big thing about Gear 2 is you're supposed to be able, I guess what it does is it changes it from a 1-to-1 and basically gives you the higher memory clock. So in theory, I think Gear 1 is actually supposed to be slower, because if you look at it, I think the maximum supported, I think, is 3200 megahertz, which is really not that much. You gotta figure, I'm running 4800 megahertz now on memory, so, no, wow. This is the first time using the Beast Pot, and to be honest, it works almost too good. I'm used to pouring a little bit more, so I'm actually pretty surprised about how well it works. Any idea how memory will OC on the Apex? Still have mine, not really wanting to buy. You know what? That's a good question. I think maybe we're gonna have to do another stream just on that, because that was my question too. For this release, I wanted to do something on the newer motherboard and not do older. So I think what we'll do is we'll do a video on just that, because I have the older Apex and I'm curious about it too. And I always like, when I do sessions, I like, say we go on a platform, I like to test different boards, because one manufacturer might not have thought about something else, and you just learn a lot going from board to board. I usually switch a lot of different boards. It gets very confusing because you'll have memory settings that might be a lot different on one manufacturer versus another manufacturer. So it can be tough. So it says Gear 2 will give the best performance due to the clock difference. See, that I totally agree with Dino's saying there. Is the difference between the gear mode's clock limits? I gotta go into it more, because it's kind of confusing the way it's depicted. So I want to do a little bit more research before I really get back on you, because I actually want to, instead of what people tell me, I always like to go and actually test it out to make sure and see, like, is that what it really is, you know? It's funny, this pot just takes liquid nitrogen and just eats it up. It's kind of amazing. I wish I used this pot a long time ago. Oh, let's see. So Gear 1 seems to do 3600 max. Yeah, I think it's around, I want to say the support is like 3020. Yeah. So no gear modes in the Apex, been trying, can't get over 3800. So I'm wondering if they're going to come out with a new BIOS if they don't have that. So, alright, so we're a little slower than normal, which is probably because I have all this stuff open, so that's okay. But we have a good run-in, so it means memory is stable, it's working, so I think we're just going to push the clocks from here. So this is kind of the fun part, because again, I haven't tested this one on liquid nitrogen, so we're going to see what happens. So I'm just going to bump up the clocks, or sorry, the voltage, because we are really cold, so maybe I'll jump it up to 1.6. Alright, we'll go for the glory. Now I'm just going to keep it around minus 120. Actually, it's probably going to go quicker because this pot just soaks it up. Quite nice. So we're going to chicken clock a little bit. Like I said, I was not impressed with this particular chip, and that doesn't mean you're going to get a bad chip on the 11900K. it's all about silicon lottery, right? Silicon lottery is basically most chips, not all chips are going to be clocking the same. So they basically give you like a reference of when you buy a chip, you're basically getting this particular clock. You're not. That doesn't mean you're going to go, oh, I'm going to get 5.5 gigahertz. Some chips, you never know. You might actually find that one chip that might be able to do it. But that's not a guarantee that you're going to be able to do it. And it's the same thing for AMD too. So I don't want to be anybody bashing about, oh, it's because of AMD is better that way or whatever. So you'll notice over here too that I have 8 cores, 8 threads. So instead of doing like 16 threads, there's just no reason to do it. From what I found out with this particular chip, it seems more stable with the 8 cores. So we're at 5.1. Let's just run, make sure everything's good, and see how it does. So we should be still around minus 120. The pot's moving a little bit. You want to see that pot heating up. You want to see that pot heating up so that way you know that something's going on there. Because if you don't do that, basically you could have a paste crack or have a bunch of different issues. So seeing that heat up where it goes hotter, so obviously it goes down or it goes up. So just know it means the paste is working. So the paste I'm using today is I'm actually using DeBauer's paste, the Thermal Grizzly, but I'm using I guess it's liquid helium, it's the extreme one. Now, I'm not too much of a fan of the Cryonaut Extreme, or the like regular Cryonaut. Cryonaut on air, I'm not too sure about it. I haven't tested this. This is my first session on a CPU for liquid nitrogen. So, yeah, this is the expensive stuff. This is the pink stuff. So, I'll maybe see if I can give you a good look on it. I'll probably end up getting it all over and see how it's pink. So this is his new extreme stuff. And hopefully it works good on here. I have a feeling it's going to do pretty well. And remember, just because it works good on liquid nitrogen doesn't mean it's going to work good on air and water. What I found is that basically KPX works really, really well, especially for water and air and liquid nitrogen. So it's kind of like the best of all worlds. I find this stuff is probably really good, or the best at liquid nitrogen. I haven't really water tested this. I'm curious. I'm going to have to do a roundup between KPX and this because, I don't know. I have a feeling this could be better than the old Cryonaut. So, let's see. So, let's try to catch up on some here. I'm tempted to pick up the ASRock OC formula. Nice to see the formula back. Yeah, I have no idea about that. That's more of ASRock's thing, but I've always had really good luck with the OC formula, so it'd be interesting to see, because, I don't know, I know Asus came up with a bunch of boards, Gigabyte came up with a bunch of boards, I mean, as usual, MSI and all them, so it'd be interesting to see. Let's see, looks like you're up and running, bro, have fun, see ya. Thanks, Dinos, thanks for the LN2 clocks, so I can help me out a little bit here. Much appreciated, Slacker. I think Windows has a nightlight activated. It's all yellowish. I think Windows has a nightlight. You know, all yellowish. Oh, it's actually my yellow light. I get it. Interesting. I want to see how good it looks from the side. Let me see here. Put it up over there. I like it over there better. What's up, y'all? Friction Waves. Hi from Czech Republic. Good luck with the sand. A little more volume on the voice, please. Yeah, it's more or less me trying to angle my mic. So, well, yeah, you'll be able to hear me more. It's just me. I gotta pretend like I gotta talk in this general vicinity. I have a natural reaction of going all around. It says Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme is $159 Australia for 9. I do it. It's expensive. I'm not saying buy it or not. I'm just saying I'm testing it out. Because I think I spent like $130. I probably spent like $120 to order this. So this is not sponsored by Thermal Grizzly or DeBauer in any way. Basically, it's just what I bought and I'm testing it out. To be honest, I'm not too crazy about sponsors anywhere. Sponsors in general anymore. Because you never know what somebody wants you to say and then they get all butthurt about something. So this is more fun, me going and doing whatever I want. So, and that way nobody gets hurt. Well, they might get hurt, but I don't, because I don't really care what people say. So, to be honest, I'm actually really impressed with this liquid nitrogen pot. Roman did very well with this. I always wanted to use one, and this is the first time I'm using it. So, I'd like to say I am actually really impressed. I mean, it is cooling it down so easily, and that's just from like what I said. So it's not a standard liquid nitrogen pot where people just mill out the top and you just basically have holes in there. He's going from the sides, going all over. It's pretty crazy. It just reminded me to order a 10-gram KPX refill. I know, you need lots of paste. Dude, I have like a whole box of paste. I still want to get into those paste videos. It's just trying to find the time. I gotta come up with a structure. Maybe we'll do it with this chip or maybe we'll do it with an AMD chip. I don't know. I need to come up with a test setup that I can keep and keep all the same all the time. That way I can just go on and take one paste, replace, and then one paste, replace. Alright, so we improved by a couple seconds just from going from 5 gigahertz to 51. So that's actually pretty big. Way bigger than I actually thought about, just from 100 megahertz. So we're just gonna keep on pumping it up, chicken clocking like the best, and run it again. Keep it at 120. We're gonna start getting colder and colder. I don't want to get cold too quick. I am chicken clocking for a reason. I want to show you guys basically what we're doing. You know, we're not breaking records here. We're just having fun, seeing what Rocket Lake can do. So. While we're running this, make sure you like and subscribe if you really want to support the channel. Patreon goes a long way. We have a Discord access that is, once you subscribe to Patreon, it gives you access to Discord. In Discord, we have a great group over there. All those slackers over there, like Ann, we got George over there, we got my buddy Boosted over there. We got a lot of good crew over there. So, you guys gotta make sure, or Uzman too, man. You guys gotta come over there, join the crew, hang out with all the other slackers, and I don't know, just talk tech, you know? That's what we like to do. That pot was aptly named. Yes, this is the Beast. The only problem with the Beast is like you can't put it on Threadripper, because Threadripper is like, the die is like, or sorry, not the die, but the heat spreader is like this big, so the Beast pot is just not big enough. From what I heard, little birdie told me, and the little birdie, being Roman himself, had told me that he's coming out with some new pots. So I don't know, maybe he'll bless us with his Roman whatever and give us a bigger pot. Because the one pot that I used on, if you watched Gamer Nexus, when we do liquid nitrogen stuff, he's got that, what is it? I can't remember the name of the pot, but it's gigantic. And I lapped it for Steve. And it did awesome. I fell in love with that pot, but I can't seem to get one. I think Roman's holding out and doesn't want to give me one. It's pretty typical of these overclockers, you know what I mean. Alright, need to find a bead-tested lav mic. I don't even know why. I like my lav mic. Now, the problem with the lav mic stuff is I don't know what's in this house. I actually have several lav mics, but the wireless stuff, in this room, it doesn't really work that well. So this is why basically I go with my shirt. And I like my shirt, so don't talk about it. Alright, water pretty much no difference. I don't even know what it is. I'd like to see the test between Thermal Grizzly and KP for water so I get the best one. Depends on which Thermal Grizzly. So Cryo is a lot worse. So I already did, I'll just tell you some of the tests that I've done. So Thermal Grizzly Cryo, I tested on water against KPX. KPX blew it away by 40 megahertz. Now, you have Thermal Grizzly Hydronaut. It was actually right, so you had KPX, Hydronaut, then Cryo. Remember, Cryo is really only supposed to be for liquid nitrogen, so you really should not be using it on water, right? But a lot of people use it on water, and that's where your mistake goes, because it actually is a lot worse on water than it is on liquid nitrogen. On liquid nitrogen, it actually works pretty good, but when it comes down to water, it's just not really made for it, so it doesn't, the performance is not as good as KPX. And I mean, it's very noticeable. It's not even like, oh, it's only a degree. No, it's actually like quite a big difference. So make sure I would just do that. Let's see. You'll need to borrow Steve's Threadripper pot for that. I can't remember the name of that pot. I do need to borrow that pot, but Steve probably won't give it up. Because he's probably going to bench Threadripper or something. Who knows with that slacker. Oh, he's too busy anyway. He's doing some craziness over there. I heard they're doing lots of cool stuff over there. I know he's been kind of, I don't know, quiet lately, but that's because he's doing some epicness, which is really cool. So, wish I could find where to buy Roman spots. Well, I figure Case King, or if you try to get a hold of Roman, I know he's kind of tough to get a hold of, but I'm sure he'll probably put some stuff on Case King, or he'll probably make an announcement or something like that. Otherwise, you can look and try to find, I don't know, try to find one online. I don't know, talk to maybe some other overclockers. Some might be selling them because they might not be doing it anymore, or just collecting dust, stuff like that. So, best name ever. Tried the reactor pod. No, I actually did not try the reactor pod. I've actually heard some really good things about it. So, but I can't really say for myself whether it's good or not. So I've heard that it's really good, but you know, I never really go based upon like what's going on with. I don't know. Kind of crazy. Wow, so we hit under the 5-minute mark on SuperPi 32M at only 5.2. We're just getting started here. That is really, really impressive. What's really impressive is like I actually want to try to test this out on AMD too. I want to try it maybe on like a 5900X. I just don't have a 5900X. Maybe a 5800X. I don't know. We'll have to do another stream on it. I'm still planning out streams, trying to find time. I'm just going to start winging streams from now on. So that way we just have a bunch of content. And I don't know. I enjoy doing stuff like this. I'm not doing this for like YouTube legendness or anything like that. I do it for fun. So I don't really make money off this. This is just something to do and to enjoy my time with you guys. So I don't want to be like, well, oh, you're not making or not doing this. I don't know. People make too many excuses nowadays. Kind of crazy. All right, so 5.2. I can't believe under 5 minutes. Like years ago, like getting like 10 minutes was quite crazy, especially on AMD. AMD has improved like dramatically compared to like old days. Sitting at run like we'd be running at like 7 gigahertz, and it would still be like 10 minutes, 11 minutes per run, and then it would fail sometimes on the last loop. Oh. Talk about depressing. I think that's probably why I didn't run SuperPi 32M. Because you're putting a lot into it. Like, you gotta wait for 5 minutes for the run every time. We're gonna jump up to 53 and run it. Hey, James Pryor. What's up, Slacker? I still owe you a sweatshirt. Signed sweatshirt, Slacker. I'll be getting you there. I like your pop music. Did it change the pop music? You called me pop music? Did you really just say pop music? I'm so confused. Oh, Casey. So, what up, guys? I just joined the stream. Can anybody bring me up to speed? How does this chip do in comparison to 10th gen in memory overclocking? Well, so what I was saying before is 32M. So right now we're running about 5.3 on 46 on the Encore. We're under 5 minutes. To get under 5 minutes on the 10900K in single core performance, you need a lot more than just 5.3. You're probably I think in the 6 gigahertz range. Probably higher than that to get to this same performance, which is pretty dramatic. I was trying to figure out, like, what I can show, what was the best way to show this platform. And really, some guys were all like, oh, it stinks at multi-core, it's only good at single core. But to be honest, it shines in 32M. I felt like this was the most appropriate action to take for a stream on release day. So I'm pretty stoked. I enjoy doing 32M. It's like I said, it's been 10 years since I broke a world record on 32M. So it's about time we get back to that single core performance, because it's just so good on Rocket League. Like, it is kind of impressive that they took the 10 nanometer IP and ported it to the 14 nanometer, which I thought was interesting. But then they kind of... So one of the other things that we're probably not going to see today, but what should be talked about is the actual IGP itself. So if you look at, like, I don't know if that many, we've been streaming since everything came out, since NDA lifted. But I don't know if anybody put anything up about the IGP. The IGP is supposed to be like 50% better than previous. Which 50% of not that great doesn't make it all that awesome, but 50% increase from one gen to another is actually pretty dramatic. So you got to be impressed with that. So if you're going to have the 11900K and you're going to run IGP and you want a small platform, it's pretty much a beast, kind of just like this box. Oh man, I'm talking it up. What up, slackers? Chef, what's going on, my man? TechOdin already a legend, though. Yes, I am already a legend. A legend in my own mind. Alright, so we need some more juice. Liquid nitrogen. I think we need to do a liquid, like a liquid nitrogen stream where we just play with liquid nitrogen. Like we find different ways of doing liquid nitrogen. Yeah, we'll have to do that. I definitely want to do some type of stream like that where we basically just use liquid nitrogen. If you guys want to, if you're just watching this and even if the stream's over and you guys want to see something cool with liquid nitrogen, I just love playing in general. So if you have a good idea, like something that we can freeze, that maybe I'll put together a couple different videos of one video of a bunch of, I don't know, just messing with liquid nitrogen, because you could freeze stuff, break stuff. It's kind of cool, not gonna lie. All right, let's see. Are we getting that? We're still at minus 114. Love these live streams, my dude. Keep slacking. Thanks, Shane. You keep slacking too, my brother. All right. What about the substantial heat increase? The substantial heat increase. Okay. So there's not really a substantial heat. I really think that's funny, where you really relate that back to Intel as substantial heat. To be honest, the AMD stuff is just as hot. So I don't like how people say that, because really they're the same. It depends on what you want to do, and it's all a balance anyway. If you're going to overclock, you're balancing out heat, voltage, temperature. So it's the same thing with Intel. One's not really hotter than the other. Technically, if on idle, I always see AMD chips a lot hotter. So I don't know. That shit doesn't work with me. And I'm a huge fan of AMD too. So I'm not biased to either one. I basically try to look at it from a point of, I don't know, an outside point of view. So wow, we're down to 4 minutes and 53 seconds. You guys don't even realize, but maybe even a couple generations ago, this would be almost like record territory. I think 4 minutes 30, like 4 minutes 53 is really good, and we're only at 53 on the core. So we're gonna keep on bumping this up. I take screenshots of everything. If you don't like it, it's too bad. Well, yeah, let's pop it over. Let's go to 5.4, and we run again. Make sure the temps are good. See, it's kind of nice where I can talk all the time and I can just pour a little bit. Let's see, can you freeze fire? You know what I tried? It actually puts out fire. It's kind of funny. I've gotten the other. I remember we did the Intel release at the 9900K up in the World Trade Center. So it was me and another overclocker, Slave, very famous overclocker, really great overclocker name. And we're sitting there, and they wouldn't allow us to use torches. But yet we had liquid nitrogen right near it. So the fire marshal basically said, you can't use this. Like, they literally wanted to shut down the whole event because of this. So we thought it was kind of funny, because you could just pour liquid nitrogen on it and put out a fire. It literally sucks the oxygen out, and it's kind of amazing. But a lot of people don't know, and when people don't know, they're kind of scared of it. So, I don't know. Pretty interesting. Let's see. Is it me, or is he using... I don't even know what that means. Or maybe Windows homegrown shitty nightlight. I have no idea. Intel produces a lot more wattage per core. It's really not that much. I know it's just, I don't know. I feel like too many people are into that whole wattage per core crap. Because really, it doesn't make... Yeah, you're going to use more energy, but that doesn't mean you're creating such a heat load that can't be cooled down. Because think about it. So if Intel can hit like 5.3, 5.4 on water, and AMD can't hit that, what does that tell you? It doesn't really make a difference. IPC, there's so many different variables in there that you just can't. It's hard to do it, man. It's hard to even compare things most of the time. Joe just loved tech and OC in it. I just love taking something and pushing it beyond its limits and just seeing where it goes from here. Good morning. I wake up making coffee, all to turn on the TV to this. There are better ways to wake up, but not many. ATC, you kill me, bros. My C64 once told me it would take 36 years to calculate one. Oh my man. I don't know, you'd still be running, right? That's pretty funny. No, it's kind of crazy over the years on how long this has taken. Like, there was a contest maybe in like 2012, I think, or 2013. No, I think it was probably 2012. And it was an AMD 32M contest. And this is back when AMD, it was really slow. Like one of the famous AMD overclockers found this issue that could be fixed that increased 32M performance dramatically, like absolutely dramatically. And so basically they had a contest to really do it, but we were still 10 minutes, and we're like 7.5 gigahertz, and you're still at 10 minutes. So this to be at like 4 minutes 50 seconds or whatever is pretty exceptional, just to show. So like the single performance increase is pretty huge. Like most people don't realize Rocket Lake. I feel like if they had more cores and the multi-core IPC was better, I feel like they would be a clear winner. But since they skipped down on cores, it's kind of in this weird area. It's hard. It's kind of weird and hard to talk about, you know. At this point, it doesn't matter which CPU is better. Both Intel and AMD are good enough. It's only a matter of what you can buy. Isn't that the truth? So one of the things that I do like about this is I feel like this might give an opportunity to actually buy one of these things. So would I buy this? Yes, I would definitely buy a chip to play with. And to be honest, just run 32M, because to be honest, since I've gotten this chip, this is all I've been doing. I've just been running 32M. Just testing it out, because I don't know, it renewed my love for playing with 32M. Because like I said, it's been a long time, like 10 years since I broke a record on it. And I think the only time that I ever really ran it was for contests, like doing like a 5 gigahertz contest, never actually going max settings. So I figure it's time to bring back 32M, especially since we can run it on Windows 10. So 5 gigahertz on one processor is not equal to a different processor exactly. Let's see, I guess I missed something before that. It says, that is 14 nanometer for you, just not as efficient, but the new Intel CEO thinks they can do TikTok, so 7 nanometer may be coming. So from what, like I guess if you're just new to the stream, so as being a part of Intel Media, I was able to ask, or a bunch of guys were asking questions, and they were asking Intel basically, why did you go from 10 nanometer to 14 nanometer? So what they said is that they were not getting the best clocks from 10 nanometer. So they wanted to take, since 14 nanometer, I mean, what is it? 14 nanometer plus. So they've been working on that for years, and the clocks are really good. I have a feeling that when, they didn't say this, now when they did the 10 nanometer IP and actually played around with it, I don't think they were getting the clocks that you are getting now. So like getting 5 gigahertz is pretty easy now. Like you could do that on air with these chips. So, but on 10 nanometer, I don't think that was possible. So that's why they chose 14 nanometer. Now the big limitation for why they only did so many cores was that because taking 10 nanometer design and putting it on 14 nanometer, you're basically The 14 nanometer is smaller, right? So you could fit more in a certain area. So you're basically taking 10 nanometer IP and moving it up to 14 nanometer. You're gonna lose a lot of space. So that's what they said from the Intel, directly from the Intel engineer. So how that actually works, I don't know. But that's pretty much the answer you're gonna get. And I really thought it was interesting too that Intel decided to go after the 5900X and not say like a 5950X, which is interesting there too. I don't know. Jonathan Robertson, 14 nanometer plus. May have missed a couple. Just saying. But alright guys, we got about 128 concurrent viewers right now. And only 84 likes. Come on, let's get the likes up. We get the likes up. We stream more when we get the likes up. That's just how it is. I fixed it for him. You guys are killing me. Alright, so basically what we're doing is running at about 55 now. So what's crazy about this, if you guys are new to 32M, is that the performance we are getting now is like, I would say anywhere from 6.4 to 6.5 maybe on 10900K. That you're talking about like a gigahertz difference. So the IPC is pretty good. Maybe like 62, maybe about 700 megahertz difference. And you're talking about a crazy amount of performance. And one of the other things that they were talking, I don't know how much stuff you guys have been watching on who's saying what, but the memory overclocking has actually moved on from the Z590 chipset to the lower chipset. So that means overclocking a memory, you're going to be able to get more performance for your lower end chips, which is pretty cool to me. Uh-oh. Anytime when you get like free performance, I like it. All right, we're getting a little bit warm here, so let's start cooling it off a little bit more. I haven't been paying attention and I've been talking too much. Captain Planet, you slacker. You know, I love that little face. I wound up buying an Intel 10700KF because the Z170 died, but the reason Intel reduced the cores is the New York backported takes more footprint. Not a problem on the smaller node, but is a problem on the 14 nanometer. Yes. I think you said the same thing as I did. Get it colder. We're still running. I'm surprised it's still running, to be honest. Says, my bad on the likes. I smoked a little bit of the devil's lettuce before the stream. Cheers, slacker. Temp screen is blank. Yeah, Eric. Basically, what happens is it has like an auto shut off. That way, it doesn't kill the battery. So I just have to click on it every once in a while. Oh, look at this. So we got a not exact round error. So this means we probably have to push the voltage a little bit. So we're going to close this out, go to 1.65, see if it is an actual voltage issue, or maybe we're getting too cold. Did I get, we might have been getting too cold too. If you guys missed it, Dino, famous gigabyte overclocker, I think he now works for Intel. He was basically giving me tips because he's working on the gigabyte board too, and basically said that the higher he got, or the colder he got, that he was starting to have some memory issues. So we want to try to, that's why I'm not going really, really cold. This is my first session on liquid nitrogen, and we want to make sure that we're getting, I don't know, just make sure everything's working. This is the first session. This is just to basically see what happens, because I don't know, it's more fun for stuff like this. I find if I would have benched this and showed you what I did already, what fun is that, right? I'd rather you guys see exactly what I'm doing. It's kind of fun. You guys ask questions, be like, why are you doing it that way? Or you guys give me tips. Maybe my brain's running on overdrive and I'm not thinking about it, or if I'm trying to think about something else. It's just enjoyable to have you guys here. Because 32M can get a little bit much. I mean, it's funny because I'll be working sometimes, or I'll be working and I'll try to run over to here and basically hit the button. Captain Planet 75, no waza. So this is actually a great. He brought up a great thing. So back in 32M, and when you're going to run on Windows XP, we had a program called waza. I forget why what the actual acronym stands for. I forget how even waza came about, but there was a program. Basically, what it does is it would actually change the way memory to the OS actually works, right? So by running this program, it would copy files back and forth from, it would basically like cache everything so that way it would make memory work faster. So on Windows XP, when you ran Waza, you would basically run that before you run 32M, and it would drop like 10 seconds, maybe like 7-8 seconds off your time. So it basically is a way to gain efficiency on Windows XP. So from what I've found is that doesn't actually work with Windows 10 like it does with Windows XP. So with having Benchmate, it kind of helps, and pretty much it's nearly as efficient with Windows XP with Waza, and basically, so Windows 10 with Benchmate is pretty close to the same time as Windows XP with Waza. So that's why I'm not running it, and to be honest with Waza, I don't think it makes any difference on Windows 10. I personally didn't run it. I know a couple people that actually did, and they were doing testing. I didn't get a chance to actually test that component, but I wasn't seeing that it might be needed. It might actually work a little bit. Maybe it's something I'll test in the future. I'll definitely test in the future, but it's just probably not needing it. But thanks for the $75, which is like $2 in Taiwan. So don't pull a SpaceX and explode this rocket. What fun is that? We'll break the warranty. Elon Musk wouldn't dare give me something to test, because I would definitely blow it up. Definitely blow it up. Waza is a Japanese word for technique or art. Really? I've never even known that. So, like, if you want to talk about history in OC world, basically, I think one of the first overclockers was the Japanese overclockers. Like, really, the Japanese guys were like the kings of Super Pi 32M. I think it dates back into like the 90s. I know HW Bot did a whole big thing on it, on history. I would do some Google searches and check it out, because it's pretty damn cool. Merchant says I looked at it. Alright, so we need to... There we go. Take care of that. If you're gonna be toxic in my group or you're gonna spam stuff, I'm gonna knock you out and kick you out. It's just how it rolls. So, I don't care who you are. If you're gonna do something like that, I don't care if you're my mother. I'm gonna kick you out. So, just say, it's just what it is. Oh wow, so the rocket just blew up this morning? I had no idea. I haven't been paying attention. So what gigahertz are we on? We are at 55 right now. It looked like that voltage increase really needed. So we're about 5.5 gigahertz. We're just chicken clocking right now. We're just keeping it. I don't want to go too cold right now because I'm a little bit worried that I won't be able to run the memory blocks. So we're trying to be very, very cautious of it. So we did 4 minutes and 43 seconds. So, dang. Which is pretty amazing. I'm trying to remember what generation they had when that would have been a world record. Slacking at its finest. Says, hey, yeah, they did a research with LM2 back in the 80s. There's a video somewhere in the Internet Archives. Yeah, I can't remember exactly where it is, but that might be actually a good video to do just for, like, some good content. Oh, yeah, he's already banned already. Bye-bye. See you later. Alright, so I'm just going to bump this up to 1.7, and we're going to go up to 56 now. A lot of the times with 32M, we push like really, really high voltage. I really don't know what is safe. Usually we just want to make sure temps are good and just roll with it. So let's see. So let's see, 56. So we're at 5.6 gigahertz. We're 4600 on the Encore. From what I hear, Encore is a lot tougher this gen. So from 10900K to 11900K, the Encore is more special, I guess. It's way harder to push. Let's see, damn, 5.5, that's crazy. Not yet. 5.5 is there. I mean, it's good to see that it can push those spots. So that push from 10 nanometer IP to 14 nanometer was beneficial. So, 5.5 giga slack out. Man, it's been so long since we enjoyed a live ban. I know, I'm gonna have to start just banning people for fun. Just kidding, I wouldn't do it. Where is the 3090 white mods? White mods? I don't even know what that means. Let's see. You got a favorite kind of style of beer? Well, I don't really drink anymore, so... but my favorite beer is pretty much anything. The only things I didn't really like are, like, what are they called? I don't know. Any of the fruity stuff. Like, I don't mind, like, orange peel, stuff like that, but, the real, like, tart ones, I'm not too crazy about beer. I would always go with, like, an IPA. IPA was my go-to. So. You got a... Jonathan! Alva! Uncle Slacker! What's up, buddy? How are you doing? Where's your review? I gotta read it. I don't know if, he did a review. I don't know if you... I know you did something on 11700K, but... Alva's got the... He's got the smile of OC. He's got the smile that you can always remember. Always... If you're having a bad day, just remember. Just look at Alva. I mean, I've beaten him a couple times in comps. He's like my nemesis. I always end up tending to beat him. And I think it's because I look over him, at him, and he's always smiling, and it just gives me, like, I always feel good. Just kidding. I like Alva. He's one of the great overclockers. He's got a great attitude, great personality. Shane, Joe, does Benchmade come with the test, or you download them separate? So Benchmade actually comes with all this. That's one of the reasons why I like it. It's all basically integrated in the package. You just go to benchmade.org, download it, and you'll basically get exactly what's there. I want to say this is last week's version, so I don't know if he did a new one. But yeah, and then I'm pretty sure you can add your own programs to it, but it comes with pretty much everything you need. CPU-Z, it comes with, what's it called? Hardware info, like, it's a lot of good stuff. Definitely, if you want a bench, I suggest using it. I probably would only do it now with that. Astronomical numbers, I'm loving it. What do you think it will clock to? 5.9 is my... I think we'll get close to 7 gigahertz probably. I'm pretty much curious. We'll definitely hit over the 6 gigahertz barrier, but that V-core is what's making me nervous. This chip is not the best chip. Like, you're gonna see world records probably get totally destroyed. But with this chip, it just doesn't seem like a real good 32M chip. So we're gonna push it and push it and push it. My goal, I'd be happy if it does like 6.7, maybe 6.8. If it hits 7 gig, I'll be pretty ecstatic, but we'll see. Remember, we also have cold too, so like we haven't been getting too cold because I want to make sure mem clocks stay. So we're gonna try to push the temp and try to push voltage as we go, and see how much farther we can go. Because you never know, you can get a lot of stuff in there. Quad feed, God, I love this channel. Well, God, I love you guys. Bunch of slackers. How do you think about the Z590 OCF? I don't really know much. I know Alan's play will probably be benching it. It's usually pretty good, but I mean, I don't know. It's hard to say. King Slacker live streaming? It's been a while. K3, K4. Luprid CZ, thanks for the $100, buddy. You are still the best slacker. And here is for 1 liter of LN2. Thank you, slacker. And I appreciate it. Where's the 3090 with the mod? Sorry, bad in English. Actually, it's just sitting over there. I haven't, to be honest, I've been just so busy. What I need to do is I actually need to sand the core down more. So, I don't know. It's kind of at the point with the 3090. It's kind of boring at this point for me. And usually I only do what I'm interested in. So, I don't know. I really haven't had much interest into it. That doesn't mean I'm not going to touch it again. It just means right now I got to do stuff with this. This is the Intel release. So, I'm not done with it. I don't know. Maybe if JZ 2 cents comes out and I don't know, maybe we gotta beat him anyway. So maybe we'll set up Rocket Lake and beat him, you know? I don't know. I haven't decided. We'll see. He doesn't have, the flu anymore, so we will see. So we're at 4 minutes and 39 seconds, which is pretty epic. Let's just jump up to 5.7 and kick it off again. And I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start pulling the temps down a little bit more, so we're at maybe like 140. Alright, we're run. So we do have LN2 mode engaged. Let's see. I forgot where I was on here. Yeah, Rolf has already subbed Monster 32M run. Oh, I bet. See, it must be nice for those guys because so how it works is, depending on who your sponsor is, they go through and bin chips and they give you chips. So I don't know. To me, it's not the most fun because you're not figuring out yourself. You're basically getting one of the best chips in the world, and then you play around with it. I mean, it's nice, but I feel like you lose a lot of touch with actual technology that way. It's kind of one of the reasons why I've kind of gone away from it. I like to bench more stuff that's accessible. I'd rather go buy a chip and then bench it, and then instead of getting a chip from a manufacturer and then showing you something that's not realistic. So, but either way, it's still cool to see and like see how far you can push it. You know? Oh, let's see. I got a Maximus 5 Extreme for my 3770K. That was a fun chip too. That's when like. So 3770K, so you have the, what, 2600K and 2700K. You could only go like minus 30C for those. They would cold bug instantly. When 3770 came out, that's when you could actually bench like full cold. A lot of guys were deleting stuff and basically getting. I just remember that for some reason. I don't know. What Slackers for the win. What motherboard am I using? So I'm using Gigabyte's new. I don't even know how to say it. It's like Taiyun or Taiyun. It's Tachyon. So this is a high cookies board. He's the engineer. He's a Gigabyte's in-house overclocker. He's been benching for years for Gigabyte. He's the one that did all the OC boards, the orange and black boards. Pretty much one of my favorite boards of all time. Up there with like the Azeroth formulas, stuff like that. So. We love you too, Slagger. No gay. Julius, my brother. Chips are a little more interesting at the moment. I'll do cartwheels and jumping jacks if you hit 7 gigahertz. So we'll probably hit 7 gigahertz, but just not, maybe with CPU-Z, but not actually with 32M. But who knows? We still have a lot of temp left. I mean, we're only at minus 130. This pod I know will get to minus 196 and keep it there, just because of the surface area in it. So it could be possible that we hit 7 gigahertz. So I don't know. We're just gonna play around and see. So we're gonna keep rolling and rolling and rolling until it dies. So let's play. Holy shit, Slackers! Tally time and overclocking. Yes, 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 yes. I know I've been gone for a little bit. I don't know. I wanted to do something special for you guys, and I figured the Intel release day was the best way to do it. I couldn't talk about all this stuff beforehand. Because, you know, I don't know, we have these things called NDAs and stuff like that, so we were not allowed to do it. So, I figured release day, we'll do it right when it releases, and we'll have fun and hang out and do a bunch of slacking. So, but yeah, so what are we at temp-wise? Oh, I'm slacking on temp. I'm going to try to push it maybe to like 140-ish. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. I've never had sponsored gear. It's nice finding a retail that's awesome. To be honest, I get more, if I can find retail chips that are amazing, I don't know, there's more of a rush to me than getting a chip from a manufacturer. Because you know these manufacturers are literally going through hundreds and hundreds of chips. Which is kind of like, is it realistic? I don't know, to be honest, it takes the pureness out of overclocking. Just because it's a manufacturer testing I don't know, to me it's awesome in one way, but it's also kind of boring in another, you know? I don't know. I like just opening up a package and not knowing what you're going to get, and all of a sudden, boom, you get one of the best chips in the world. It's a hell of a feeling. I've seen it happen many times. The only problem with it, though, is that you get spoiled. So if you have that best chip in the world, and like for this generation, and then the next generation, when you buy a chip, it's not going to be like the best chip in the world. Like, you kind of get, like, I don't know, it messes with your emotions, you know? Like, you kind of, like, you get kind of down about it, or you get, like, it's kind of funny. All right, now we're at 4 minutes, 34 seconds. It's pretty damn good, if you ask me. I still can't believe how, I'm so surprised. Because if you look at, I don't know, someone's got to go up onto HWBot and find 4 minutes and 34 seconds and what a 10900K took to get to that point. Because it's quite an IPC improvement. Like, most people are not, like, on the Intel train for this, and I understand. I mean, AMD's killing it in multi-core. But this single-core performance, you have to basically, like, you can't deny how epic it is. Because it's making 32M fun again. So, long time no see. What's going on, Slacker? Says, I understand what you're saying. I've never had sponsored gear. The mobile looks awesome. Hi Cookie did an amazing job. Well, that remains to be seen. I always like busting Cookie. I just haven't gotten enough time to test on it. Because he's testing, that's his job. He just tests. Me, I gotta work. I gotta take care of my kid. Make sure all the responsibilities are taken care of. And then I get to play. Sometimes what I'll do during work and stuff is, if I have the cryo cooler on here, I'll run over here real quick. I'll be working over there, come over here, kick off a run of 32M, and then run back, come back over, and just do that all day. Pretty much what I do. Let's see. JZ2 Sands just released a video called Intel the Fallen One. Aw. Better feeling than already knowing. Yeah, I mean, it takes the fun out of it. Like not that I have anything against the guys that get those chips. They've worked hard for that to get those sponsorships. Like, you can't deny them. It's just my personally, like, I just feel like it's more of like I don't know if a challenge. I feel like it's much harder to try to find a retail chip, and a lot of what you guys don't see is like how many of these guys actually go and have connections, right? So I know some guys that will go and they'll go through 100 and something CPUs. I don't even get a chance to even look at, like, for this gen, I have one CPU and that's it. I don't get to go through hundreds of chips, which is kind of unfair, but still, it's got to be cool, you know? Like, I'm not going to be mad because they have better access or they can do that, you know? I mean, I'm more envious. Like, I would definitely like to do it, you know? But, anyways. Every time I get a killer chip by luck, I get scared to push it too hard. Scared of killing it. Yes, because that's the other thing. So, when you actually get a good chip, like especially a retail that you found and you're proud of, man, you kill that chip, whoo, your emotions are gonna get crazy. All right, we gotta fill up some more juice. All right. So we're just chugging along here. So if you're new to the stream, we're basically running about 5.8 gigahertz right now. 46 on the Encore. I'm not even sure how much we can go up on the Encore. It'd be interesting. I've heard it's lower this time than compared to like normal. Or last generations, I guess you say. Previous generations. We're running at 1.7 volts. We have LLC at extreme, so it's probably pushing around maybe like 168, 167. That's why you are the TechOdin and make CPUs fly. Okay, so best run on the HWBot is 5.7 gigahertz. Was 5 minutes and 13 seconds. Wow. Really? Best run on the HWBot at 5.7 gigahertz was 5 minutes. Was that 10900K? Because it's crazy. So 5 minutes and 13 seconds for 5.7. We were getting that at like, pretty much at 5 gigahertz. I was at about 5 minutes and 9 seconds. So it's pretty crazy. I hear my son crying in there. I don't know if you guys can hear that. He must be getting changed. He doesn't like to get changed. That's what. Let's see. Bro, you are busy. When does a slacker like you find time to lift? Or the tech gods you're naturally above? No, I used to lift when I was younger. So I used to lift like really heavy weights and go. I don't really lift too much anymore. I slack most of the time. I need to get more into the gym and do some biking and do cardio. That's really the key. Because I feel like I'm gaining too much weight from this whole thing that's going on, that pandemic thing. So, but yeah, I'm naturally blessed too. So, I'm just a big dude in general. Alright, so what we got here? So we're at loop 23, so I think we might actually hit the 420 seconds, huh? We might hit 420. Oh, no. We're at loop 24, hit 421. Wow, look at that. 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Wow. So if you would have told me that like this gen would actually push this hard on 32M, I would have probably laughed at you. That's pretty impressive. I'm going to take another screenshot since that's so impressive. So we're at 5.9 gigahertz right now. Almost at 6 gigahertz. And let's see, can we still run? Are we still running? We're at about minus 128. We're going to go down to about minus 140, because remember, sometimes you can, you don't have to give too much voltage. You can actually give it a little bit cold. That almost acts like if you're giving voltage, you know what I mean? So I call it the cold scale. It says, what a waste of sand this CPU is? Oh, stop. Big dude is an understatement. Yeah, you see me in real life, I'm bigger and the camera doesn't do me justice. Says you damn near shocked me in Taipei, broski. What did I shock you with? Did I scare you? I once had somebody tell me in Taipei, it was the funniest thing. I was wearing my biking helmet. I should be wearing my biking helmet today. But this one guy was like so freaked out, and he's like, if I saw you walking in an alley, that I would literally walk the other way. And I was just like, why? If I was smiling at you, you just walk. And he's like, yeah, you too big. You're scary. Funniest thing. I'll always remember that. Alright, so we're pushing a little bit. Man, this pot is fast. I like it. I want to say I'm really impressed with this pot. I hope Roman makes some newer revisions of it, because I really feel like this is probably one of the best pots ever made. It's so fast and so quick. I mean, it's a dream to run. I used to bust his balls all the time and say, oh, you don't need that pot. And truthfully, I always was pretty envious of it. I thought he did a good job, but don't tell him that. Oh, I wasn't going to buy 11900K. We'll likely get one now. Awesome, Matt. Yeah, you cannot really go wrong with this gen. I mean, to play in Overclock, I really think the single core performance is really kind of fun. Like I said, when I first got this to review and play around with, and I was looking at it, I'm like, what am I gonna show? You know, like what can I do that's different, right? And sure enough, 32M. If I still can't even believe I'm showing this, because I'm kind of in disbelief, because we've never really been able to run 32M on Windows 10 and be like somewhat competitive. You know what I mean? Like it was really, the times would be so off compared to Windows XP, and that has changed. So that's like pretty impressive. What pod is it? Oh, this is the Devour Beast. I can't take it all apart because it's all frozen and shit right now, but I thought I was getting some issues. So we're at about minus 140. We're almost at that magical 6 gigahertz. Did I say megahertz? I don't even know. At the G-Skill booth in the dark. Totally, you're killing me. Well, hopefully we have another one soon. So we have another Computex, because I miss it. I miss not traveling anymore. I think I'm going stir crazy, to be honest. Like, I'm not used to not traveling. Before this whole thing happened, I think I was doing 6 years in a row going to Taipei. And that's not the only time I would go, like, during Computex. I would go, like, maybe 3 or 4 times a year. Like, I always did my traveling for my overclocking stuff. So I would work, not travel too much from work. I used to travel for work all the time, but I kind of cut that out. So that way when I do my overclocking stuff, then I would basically use that for travel. But now with no travel, I'm not used to being home this much. So it's kind of driving me a little bit crazy. Let's see. 200 watt versus 105 of 58 and almost same performance. What's the point of the CPU, especially for gaming? Well, the point of the CPU is that what you're not taking into account is the IPC. So the IPC is much improved for single-threaded performance. And what happens in gaming is single-threaded performance is actually pretty much king. It's not about how many cores you have. It's how fast those individual cores are. So I work with single-threaded applications. So there's some applications that I use. And if I were to use this chip, I would actually use this chip over pretty much any of the multi-cores, just because it's single-core crazy performance. So you gotta look at it a little bit more, and you can't really be biased about it. Now, if you want to do multi-core stuff, then AMD is your king there. But that's not what this is about. Man, I cannot believe that we're at 4 minutes and 26 seconds. That's awesome. So let's go and do the 60 gig. 6 gigahertz. We're now at 6 gigahertz. Sweet. Keep the temp a little bit. Remember, I'm still getting used to this one, so bear with me. Ugh. I'm trying not to knock anything off because I don't want to short anything on the board. So. But I also want you guys to be able to see it too. So we're at minus 136. Probably going to heat it up too much, but let's see. We're going to go right for the glory of 6 gigahertz. About minus 145, so that's pretty good. Benchmarks out there, almost zero difference in frames in most of the game. You just want to be negative about it, bro. I don't know what to tell you, man. Let's see. Maybe take up a hobby like extreme overclocking. I started learning how to build loudspeakers if I'm going to be home this much work. Dude, my problem is I got too many hobbies as it is. Ooh, actually, so we're failing. I wonder if this is a temp issue. Let's see. So let's close it out. So this is where it gets a little interesting. So just because we have enough volts doesn't mean memory doesn't bug out at 140. So I'm going to try to see if we can run it. I'm going to let the temp go up to maybe like minus 120. I'm going to see if memory's flaking out, like the IMC is having issues because we're going too cold. So I'm trying to stoke it a little bit, not too much. Alright, let's see. I got agoraphobia, so when I want to go to a holiday, I sleep in my spare time. Yeah, my problem is I got too many hobbies. So like, here's one thing I've been working at, right? You know what these are? Lithium-ion batteries. So I've been building battery packs and stuff. Like, I do all sorts of crazy stuff. I build battery packs, mess with all different types of things. It's kind of like ridiculous. To be honest, I never have enough time to be able to do anything. That's usually my issue. I'll work on that, and then I'll work on something else, and I'll work on something else. It kind of drives me nuts. Oh, everybody's doing subpar benchmarks with low memory speeds. Well, yeah, see, that's where people go wrong. So the real thing with this platform is memory and single performance. If you're not going to show that, then you might as well not even be giving benchmarks. That's the problem. And then even also with the lower end chips, so what people aren't talking about is that you can now overclock other chipsets. So before you had to be like a Z chipset, now you don't. So what is that going to mean? So that means you're going to be able to push your chip harder for more of a budget, and you're going to get more out of it. Looks like we might need voltage. So we're going to go to 175. I don't think it's a cold issue, which is good. So we're going to go back up to cold. Start pushing a little bit more. The worst thing that could happen right now is a reboot. So we don't want a reboot to happen because a lot of the times what happens with that is that basically the heat that's coming from the processor with the paste, if it were to reboot, it would basically not heat up enough. The paste would freeze, meaning that it would break the bond between the pot and the CPU, and then you wouldn't cool good. So you never want to try to boot too much. You got to be very careful. So that's why I'm trying not to touch too much stuff, you know? Alright, what do we got here? Well, it's worth repasting the 31 Ultra you got, bro, or should I just water block it? Was it worth repasting that? Oh, dude, it's worth repasting every one of your cards. You'd be surprised how bad the factory paste is. Battery pack for more juice on the bike, I see. Actually, it's actually for an electric skateboard. I'm like 290 pounds on an electric board. I can run it about 30 miles an hour. The problem is I get like 6 miles because of my weight. So I've been extending the battery to try to get more mileage. Because I love boarding. Like I board pretty much almost every other day. Do you think that the IPC on AMD is now better clock per clock? I don't even know what does that mean? So the IPC is better on AMD now? No. So the IPC is better on Intel single performance. So multi-core AMD, there's no doubt AMD has the foothold there. But for single core performance, there's no matching 11900K. Like this is showing you right here how strong single core performance is. If I were to run AMD on this, it wouldn't match. Not yet. I'm excited for the new AMD stuff that might come out, like in future gens. I really feel like they're on that, I don't know, I can't even think of the word, but they basically have the momentum. And everything they're doing is pretty much right. So, I don't know, this could be like, I don't know, summertime, this could change. AMD could be like the king of single core performance. I mean, I'm down. I'm not biased towards any of them. I just evaluate them from an outside point of view. Intel doesn't give me money to say yes, it's better. You know, it doesn't work like that. Oh, you don't need PCIe 4. Good to see you again, Slacker. It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a while. I have a 6900 XT OC to hell, and it's not really any difference between. Yeah, PCIe 3 and Gen 4 really doesn't make much of a difference. If anything, it really depends on how they implemented it. So depending on the motherboard, all that stuff. And how Tommy teaches me, says, Shane this look true that. At first I thought he talked about only for hardcore bearded overclockers. Now I know he also teaches very much everything with people without any facial area and knowledge about OC. I'll teach everybody anything. I just love to teach people. There's something about getting, I don't know, that look when somebody gets it after you've told them how to do something. I like that. I like to teach people. I'd rather see you break a world record than me break a world record. That's just how I am. I've always tried to share my knowledge with people. Some take it and do things with it. It's just how it is. He means IPC clock for clock. Dude, clock for clock. That's a good point. So if you had 4 gigahertz on that one versus 4 gigahertz, I don't know. I just feel like you're being too stingy on it either way. Like, you can't just say, well, IPC clock for clock is going to be on one. To be honest, I have to test. I don't have a 5900X to test. What the fuck? 30 mile per hour on a board? I can barely get 25 miles on my bike with an ice skinny. Yes, I'm doing 30 miles an hour on an electric skateboard. I am a professional. I might as well be a professional because I do it all the time. I have thousands of miles on an e-board. So, and I actually have another one coming too. Yeah, I'm brand agnostic. Well, I don't like people that really are not brand agnostic. Like, you have to be branding. And we failed on not exact round. So we might be getting into, what temps are we at? So minus 130. It could be temp. I'm gonna jump up to 1.8. Try it again. Let's see. Alright, I'm gonna start pushing the cold a little bit because I feel like we're pushing a little high on the voltage side, so we need to compensate a little bit on the cold side. But I'm just a little nervous because I have a feeling like if we get too cold, that we're gonna end up having to, I don't know, break down and not be able to bench again because we have a lot of ice buildup on there. Let's see, 140. I'm trying to go down at about minus 145. I'm like Joe and Love Child, Steve's hair and Joe's beard. Shane, you're killing me, bud. That one just cracked me up, bro. Alright. I don't know. We might have some RAM issues. Let's see. It could be that. Module seems pretty good. You know what? We're just going to go for the cold. See what happens. We can always heat up, you know? I think we need some more temp. So. So we're almost at minus 170 C. So if you guys want to look into like some overclocking, like say you want to do like the cryo cooler, the cryo cooler actually works pretty good, especially when you hard mod it. I'll be doing a video on it soon of how to actually hard mod it, so that way you don't have to use Intel's controller. I was gonna do a video originally on it, and for this whole thing, but they didn't actually release any drivers, so the cryo doesn't technically work. I think until today. I think that today is when they released the actual drivers, so that way you can actually run the cryo cooler. But the one downfall of the cryo cooler is that I can't really run it while booting up. So you have to basically boot into the OS, configure it to turn on, and then it cools. But so I ended up hard modding. I'm gonna end up doing a video on it soon. Goal is next week, and just show how to hard mod it and what it did and different. Because I actually did it so that way you can do both ways. So you can do it either hard modded or not hard modded. So, what's up, Joe? Love the stream. Sorry I'm late. Mortal Wizard, no problem. Has TechOdin found the limit at 6 gig? No way. It could be a limit. Who knows? But I feel like now that we're getting cold, we're gonna be able to push it a little bit more. Maybe I was getting a little being too nervous going too cold. But it's the first one, what are you going to do? My cooling solution will dissipate 2200 watts of heat, but it's still nowhere near LN2. Well, the LN2 is you're going sub-ambient. What's really getting all these clocks is the sub-ambient. Remember, sub-ambient's like almost like giving it voltage, you know? You can go less voltage. Did we hit a cold limit? So 165, I'm just going to... I'm going to go to what's called full pot. So basically the pot is completely full. Technically, a lot of these probes don't really go to minus 196. So we're at 190 degrees Celsius right now. So we're like super cold. So I'm just going to keep filling it up because I just don't want to keep doing it. So I'm just going to fill it up. Hopefully we don't reboot, because if we reboot, then we're going to get in trouble. So basically we're running full pot, about minus 196 degrees Celsius. The reason why it's not going all the way down to minus 196 degrees is because of the probe. A lot of these probes aren't built for that crazy temperature. It's amazing how much you find, like, even like, so you have like the FLIR cameras, you have all this different stuff that like, all of it's built for positive temperatures. It's amazing to me that so many things don't work when it's cold, and a lot of things aren't even tested at cold. So like, you don't know what's going to happen when you freeze something to minus 190 degrees. It could do anything at this point. It could change structure. You'd be surprised. I've seen guys that used to do like, what's it called? For brakes and rotors and stuff. They would put them into a cryogenic and they would freeze them, and it would actually, it would make them last longer. So you could actually, a lot of like government type government companies or stuff, like any governments that have like buses or whatever, they'll use these to, so that way they get more life out of the actual product itself. But it's just amazing how I'm wondering if memory is getting too cold now. I don't know. So B-die can be very temperamental, and it's really depends on the sticks and the ICs. But some B-die just does not like cold. Some like cold. Some don't like certain specific temperature. They can be a little bit of a pain. What do we got here? We need R20 single core. Actually, we should probably do single core R20. I haven't even ran it for myself. I don't know. I find it's almost funner on streams to be able to do it, and then like you get my initial reaction, like, "Wow, that's cool," you know. You don't like fake that stuff, you know. It doesn't do it so maybe it make the CPU more efficient. Yeah, because you don't need as much cold. So let's see. 1.75 was working for the other one, right? Let's try 1.85. Dun, 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 dun. So we're full pot right now. Oh, it's not liking it. I don't know if it just doesn't like the high voltage. Sometimes that's happening too. So there might be like a voltage limitation. Usually you find that, like I've always seen, like a lot of the times if you set too much voltage, it will complain about it. So it's kind of weird how that works, but no, this one's just not liking it at all, which means it could be memory. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna change VCIO to 1.6. So Dino was telling me before that we might have some issues with higher memory up when it's really cold, and it looks like I'm running into that now. Because right now it's not even running through like one loop, so that just gives me a, yeah. Oh, blue screen! What does it say? My B die don't work on 16C? Yes, Smurf TV. This is a 11900K. We're benching on liquid nitrogen, which we rebooted, which I didn't want to do. Yeah, which means I don't know. That's not good. I'm gonna have to torch it up. Actually, I'm waiting for some of the liquid nitrogen to burn out. So what happened is basically memory failed. We went too cold. I'm going to try pushing the memory up a little bit. I'm waiting for some of the liquid nitrogen to burn off. Let's see. So now what I'll do is I'll probably have to heat up to a certain temperature. So probably like minus 130. Problem is there's still liquid nitrogen inside the pot. So you kind of have to let it burn off. Yeah, we're super cold. It looks like Mem got pretty much too cold too. I don't know. This might be donezo. I don't know. Memory's really cold right now. We're not booting. This is usually when things go bad. So, well, we did get to see pretty much 6 gigahertz benching cold for the first time. And on 32M, man, was that efficient. Let's see. So let me change this over. Alright, so we're having issues now. So we're not booting up. What it's doing is it's basically recycling. I'm waiting for all the liquid nitrogen to burn off because otherwise it fights with the torch and you get nowhere. You just basically waste gas, so. Alright, it looks like the liquid nitrogen's out, so. Finally. So we're about minus 184, 183, 182, 180, 170. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this up until it comes back. Right now I'm not getting any post code. It just basically turns on. Okay, now we got a post. So it's about minus 160. The system comes back. This is what happens when you go cold. This is why you start getting weird, interesting things that happen. It's kind of wild. 6 gigahertz. You get a Cinebench or just frequency? 6 gigahertz was 32M stable. So basically, we were running SuperPi at 32M. What happened there? Ooh. So we are at minus 140. I don't know. The system could be shot, but I'm hoping for it. Jim Hurley, thanks for the 20 bucks for LN2 supplies. And that helps quite a bit. If you want to help, it's always good to donate. But if you really, really, really want to help, there's nothing better than going on Patreon. Like I said, we got a group that you get access to the Discord through Patreon by just as little as $2 a month. We have basically a good group of slackers over there. My favorite group is, oh man, I didn't save my profile. Let's see. So we're gonna load. Oops, wrong one. So what's cool about the Gigabyte board, if you go F4 or F3, you get to basically go and check. So I'm gonna load that one. I think what's off is I gotta add the sustain. So we're gonna do 1.6 here. And we'll do 1.6 here. Let's try that. See how that boots. I see you use a PS2 mouse and keyboard. Is that better than USB, or is it just preference? So actually, no, there is a reason why we usually do that. So, USB uses clock cycles from the CPU, so it's actually better to use the PS2 mouse because it actually doesn't work off the clock cycles. So, it's supposed to get you like a better chance of not crashing. You can get more clocks out of it. I mean, we've been doing that for years now. I'm not even sure. There's some boards that don't even support it. So, but a lot of the times it was for also Windows XP. So in Windows XP, the way it would work better than if you had USB. So, awesome. Brought it back to life with a blowtorch. I know, right? It's always cool to do something like that. John, what's going on, Broski? Hey, Broski, glad to see you're streaming again. After 4 months on EVGA waitlist, I got my shot at a 3090 for the Win 3 Ultra. I asked the wife if I could spend $1,900. She said it's either that or a baby. The card gets here today. That's pretty awesome. Hold on, let's see. So it didn't like something. What temperature are we at? So we're at minus 115. So we want to set these voltages around minus 100, and then we should probably boot. But it almost seems like I have maybe too high of a voltage. Maybe by changing that VCCIO2 too high, it didn't like it. I want to say I can't remember what I said it before. Yes, this is a new TechOdin board. I don't know how to say it. A baby can't mine crypto. I don't know. Band name? I'm not sure on the band name. Let's see. Where are we on the list? I think it's Clandstine? C-L-A-N-D... Clandstine. Get Back in the Game is the name of the band playing. If you want to check out any of the band stuff, this is Epidemic Sound. If you go through and check out the metal genre, this is where you're getting it from. I use Epidemic Sound because it's a pain in the butt for copyright. I've gotten in trouble a couple times before, so I'm trying to be legit. I don't want to get in trouble. I want to be able to stream often, if you know what I'm saying. So VCC, I think we did 1.55 for this. I think this is too high. We'll do 1.55 and let's see if that boots. I don't know. This chip. I have a feeling that something's weird with this chip. So like I can't say that it's a bad sample. So one of the things that I've noticed on a lot of different chips, you'll see from all my other videos and stuff like that, is that I usually lap my chips. Now looking at this chip, I think this chip could use a lap job. So I think that's a video we're gonna have to do to see if it gains any performance, because I feel like this chip is just weird. It has to be something with the heat spreader, because even when I pull the pot off or I pull a cooler off, it doesn't. It's just weird. It's not right. What does it say? I think you set it to 1.9. I did not send it to 1.9. I don't know what you're talking about. So that seemed to work. So I feel like that I messed it up actually by setting the wrong thing. So now, but at least we know. So this is the first time I'm touching liquid nitrogen on Rocket Lake. So don't think I'm an expert at it yet. Yet. Alright, so let's see. So we'll go back up to 1.75. For that, we're gonna open up Benchmate. Oh, we gotta get you back on the screen. Get you back. Alright, so you guys can see now. Well, you'll see in a little bit. Let's see. So let's take this off. I want to get it to run it again, and then I'll start BSing again. Hold on. So we got SuperPi, and we're gonna run this. We'll just do 5.8. Make sure everything's working. Make sure we didn't kill paste or. Yeah, this thing's pretty much on its last leg, though. I don't know how much longer we're gonna be able to go, because we're gonna have to basically go through and dry off and. We want to be able to save it for the next stream, because we'll be doing a stream probably in the next couple days too. Usually when I get into the stream mode where I enjoy doing streams, we'll go on a stream tear. So I expect this to be one of many in the next month, upcoming month. So, as the weather gets nicer, I tend to get a little bit, I don't know, not so slacking. I get like this weird winter depression. I don't know what it is. Every year I tend to be like a bear. I hibernate for a while. Not sure what that's about. I'm still figuring it out. Alright, woof. Lap job. So that's funny. Oh, let's see. Show. Live lap job from TechOdin support. Anybody ever have an IMKF in his life? Because I do have. Oh my goodness. And it's a nice CPU, huh? What's a nice CPU? Sergeant Squint, I hear new gen Intel is booty cheeks, but I ain't been keeping up with it. I don't know. Single performance is pretty epic. I don't know what. I hope no one's saying about that. Like, multi-core, it's really not. It doesn't keep up with AMD. But the single core performance is pretty key, man. I can see definitely for gaming, single core performance, but it's one of those things though, like, do you just only want a game? Do you want a streaming game? Then you want to go for more cores? I don't know, we're in that weird time now where it's like balance of cores over single performance, you know? I like you are live, get it to 7 gigahertz, thanks for the 129, broski. Seasonal affective disorder. The SAD. A lot of people have that, don't worry. Well, yeah, but now that I can do boat days and do all that. It says, DeBauer just deleted in liquid metal to lose 12C. That doesn't surprise me. I have a feeling that, to be honest, you could get that, do a lap job on it, and I probably get around, I would say maybe 8 to 10C. I have a feeling that's my issue with this chip, is the IHS is just warped. Because when I put a cooler on it before, and every time that I take the paste off, we always check to see how the mount is. And to be honest, I thought it was maybe the cooler. I tried a different cooler and it was the same thing. So I really think that the IHS really needs some work. So we're going to do that as another video. But I'm probably just going to do that as a video because it's kind of boring to like see me sand a bunch of shit. So I don't know. I think that's just maybe like a short vid. Go over it and see how well it works. Stuff like that. Alright, so we're running again at 5.8, so seems like we're back. I don't know how good back we are, but like, I don't know. Let's see. So we'll let this one run, and then I'm gonna bump it up to 5.9, and we'll go back to chicken clock. And we were running there for a long time, so maybe we just needed an OS boot. Sometimes that happens, like you want to reboot the OS. I've done it in competition, so like we would be running, and then like all of a sudden I blue screen, or like if my performance, because a lot of times if you run over and over and over, sometimes the performance degrades. So sometimes you need a fresh reboot, and it helps quite a bit. So maybe that's what happened here. I'm going to keep it around the minus 135 to 140 range. I don't want to go too cold because I feel like something with memories there that I haven't quite figured out. This is the first session on LN2. We want to crawl before you walk, right? Or crawl before you run. You don't want to run too quick, because then you kill stuff. So, but it looks like we're going. We're still going, so that's a positive note. What if you took off the IHS and put the cooler on? So one of the problems, that's a really good question, actually. So a lot of the times when, let's say, like DeBauer is doing a delid on there, a lot of the times when you actually delid, it causes issues because it's hard for that paste to work properly. So what happens is, say you delete it, you put the paste on, and you go direct eye. With the IHS, it actually works better for liquid nitrogen stuff. So what happens is that like there's that benefit where we like the soldered CPUs, but on water it's worse. It's kind of one of those. Again, it's a balance. So, like, you don't really want to delid if you're going to do liquid nitrogen stuff. But if you're doing water and that's all you're going to do, maybe a delid is going to be the way you go. But then, if you ever want to try liquid nitrogen, then you're going to run into a bunch of problems. So, it's one of those things. I don't have enough chips to be able to do that. Like, I only have one chip, and I'm not getting any more chips. Man, we didn't hit that 420 yet. I think we hit it with the other one, but let's do it again. Now, we'll go back up to 5.9. So it seems like it's running, so we're on a good spot. So the system isn't totally done yet. I was a little bit worried when we rebooted that the system would be completely donezo. So, let's see. Is SuperPi a good program to test for stability for memory? Sorry, never used it before. So, SuperPi 32M is probably a memory beast. So it's probably overkill because it's like really huge memory, right? So SuperPi is pretty much the first benchmark ever. So like the first time, like with anything competitive, 32M is the first benchmark. It's what started it all. So that's why I feel like it's to bring back and to do a stream for you on it. I think it's very fitting, especially with the IPC. So, Swerve TV. So he said mem test 86. That's really the trick to really do a daily mem test, because mem tests you'll run for a long period of time. 32M will only run for like 5-6 minutes, right? So. Is direct eyes always worse with LM2, or has the issue in the past become mounting pressure when doing? So I think what the issue is, and I'm not totally sure. I haven't really got to test. See, here's the thing. Once you delid one of the soldered processors, it's not going back, right? And then like if your processor is doing really well, it's not. You don't really want to, like, if you have one of the best processors in the world and it's soldered, and then you want to to delete it, then like you could ruin the processor. So it's kind of like one of those things. Do you even try? I don't know. So really, the issue is that the paste is hard for it to not crack. So what happens is it's not an issue of like where it's the chip's fault. So what happens is when you take the IHS off, that's soldered to the die. Now what you got to do is replace it with paste under there. So you're replacing that paste, and that paste is a pain. That paste is hard to make sure that it doesn't crack. So that's what causes the issues. It really has nothing to do with the solder. Just helps with not cracking. So you're really more worried about the paste on top of the IHS than you are underneath the IHS. Let's see. We didn't hit that 420. Let's hit it again. I see what you did there. That was pretty good. I like it. Let's see. So what else? MemTest 32 is not a stability test. It exclusively looks for hardware failures. Yes, but you can test, and basically, so if you want to test, say you were overclocking memory for a lot, you can run MemTest to make sure that you're not having issues, because you're changing all the timings, you're changing the performance of the hardware. So you could run that on your daily, and I would probably suggest running that on your daily, because you have to be careful with memory. So like if you set the wrong setting in memory, you could have a very bad day. A lot of the times when we're going and doing a lot of different stuff, especially with like overclocking memory, we might try one timing at a time. I go and you'll spend hours doing it. It's kind of boring to watch. Maybe if you guys want to see a stream on that, I'll do it. But it's more or less just I would say the art. I do the art of just testing, just making sure. I'll flip a switch, see what happens. Flip a switch, see what happens. But when you do that, if you don't anticipate an issue, what could happen is you could blow out the OS. So for like if you're on your system at home and you need to do your bills and all that stuff, I wouldn't suggest. I'd be very careful with memory overclocking. I would at least back up what you have beforehand. That way, a lot of the times what will happen is that if you try too tight at timings, it could actually blow up the OS. It will actually get it so that way it's not even usable anymore. So I'm not saying don't do it. I'm just saying be careful. Make sure you do a backup. There's a lot of programs that you can use now, like a Acronis. Acronis, you can do image backup. So what that means is you can do an image of your complete hard drive and store it on another drive, and that way, just in case you blow up the operating system, you can basically restore it right then and there. 4 minutes, 26 seconds! Yes! Woohoo! It's crazy to see that performance. Like, guys, I know people are going back and forth about the AMD versus Intel and stuff like that. The single core performance here is pretty crazy. It's nice to see. So, alright, let's try 6 gigahertz again. See if we can get there. hoping it can. So we're at minus 130. I have a feeling maybe we were too cold. We have to find that balance. I've torched an OS memory OC and just image your machine first. I know some people get lazy though. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I get lazy too sometimes, and I'll start playing it, and I'll start doing all the different settings, and all of a sudden I'll forget to set like max mem. So if you guys don't know, when you're overclocking memory, say for 32M for instance, what we do is we limit the amount of memory that's accessible by the operating system. And what this does is it allows you to only run a certain part of that memory. And what that does is it allows you to push the memory higher because there's less stress on the memory. So if you don't have that set, and I try to set 4800 and try to boot into the OS, it could blow up the operating system. So you have to be very careful. You want to take precautions, especially if it's your daily system. I always highly recommend, if you want to get into overclocking, grab another hard drive, stick it onto your machine, save your normal one, and play around. There's nothing better than that, because then you don't mess up any programs that you have and everything that's going on. So, let's see. So if it's your daily, have a daily OS and an OC OS. Exactly. That way you don't have, you always want to be able to go to your normal machine. Yes, 420. I wonder if this, I'm curious right now because we're running at 6 gigahertz. We haven't run 6 gigahertz yet, so this is a first. Oh, well, it failed before, so it might fail here. But basically, yeah, we might hit 420. I think it might be around the 6-second range. It could be around 421. It's kind of funny. If it was April 20 and we were doing it, it would be even better. I had a hard time getting a 3000 gig kit working on an F9 203, but it has lower timings. It took me, well, lowering the timings is like, people need to understand, when you lower the timings, that's almost like jumping your megahertz like a lot. Lowering the timings, tighter timings will get you quite a bit of performance. It's kind of weird with memory, because you would think that the higher frequency you get, the more performance you get, which is technically not true. It's always a balance. So like, that's why you'll see 14, 13, 13, 4800, but you see other frequency, that's like the best performance area, right? Or you can get up to 5K, maybe even 5100. But like, when you start seeing frequency, like you see like 6 gigahertz on the mem, like why is that not faster? That's why, because it's a balance of timings, because they're running way loose. Slacker, what games you playing when you're not setting records? I'm into shooter games, driving games. Let's see, I love any driving games. To be honest, if I'm not doing benchmarking, I try to be outside. I'm an outdoor guy. Like, I feel like I've been cooped up too much because I work inside all day, and then I'll bench inside all day. Sometimes I just need to get out. I'll go on the boat, go on the ocean, and do a bunch of different stuff, you know? But then when I'm tired, like after a long day of being out on the ocean and wrecked, the next day, what I'll do is I'll be on the computer playing around again. So it's like I do boating, then I come back to the benching, then boating, then benching. I don't really play too many games, but I gotta start playing more because it helps, I don't know, not kill the time, but it helps, I don't know. So I'm always thinking and doing stuff. It helps to kind of focus on stuff. So games like PUBG is probably one of my favorite. I stopped playing for a while because there was just too many hackers and cheating and stuff like that. I know it's gotten better, but I don't know. But yeah. You're wrong. MemTest is great for validating timings. Balance frequency with latency. It's too easy to pass many better alternatives. Yeah, there's a HyperPi is a good one. I've been watching Buildzoid to understand mem settings better. Well, you might want to watch somebody else that's more efficient than memory. Oh, 4 minutes and 21 seconds and 7:34. Nice. All right, so we're almost there. So to be honest, I would like to see 3 minutes. And I think technically this is the fastest I've ever run. I think 4 minutes 30. We're getting close to like what the old 10900K records are, and we're only at 6 gig, which is wild. Let's see. So let's try 6-1. Where are we at? Minus 140. I'm just gonna keep that temp because it seems to do pretty well. I'd 100 watch Joe play PUBG. I don't know, maybe I'll have to do that. I don't know, we'll do some streams, playing around. I don't know. I'm not very good at PUBG. My problem is I don't play enough. But, hey, I don't make excuses. I have fun. I actually like CSGO. CSGO is one of probably my all-time favorites. So that's funny. We couldn't run 6 gigahertz before, but we're doing 6.1 now. It's not really a problem. Wild. So I'm wondering if we just went too cold, or maybe we just needed a reboot or something. But I was wondering about that because it just seemed like 6 gigahertz. I mean, if you're not used to benching, and 6 gigahertz really isn't much anymore. I mean, AMD was benching like 8 gigahertz some years ago, but the performance was crap. A lot of the Intel stuff, I mean, I think I showed it in one of my last streams. I think when the 10900K came out, I think we did 7 gigahertz. Just CPU-Z. It wasn't able to run any some of the crazier benchmarks, but 7 is the gold. I read it was set with 1.86. Yeah, but that's not a good chip. This is just kind of like a review sample. Like, this is, it's different. Like, if you bin chips and you go through all the best, 7 gigahertz is probably easy. This chip is probably, I don't know. I don't know if it's because I need to lap it, because the contact is so bad, but I don't know. If we don't hit it this time, what we'll do is, I'll lap the chip again. We'll do a stream. Or I'll do a video on the lapping, and then maybe we'll do a stream after to see what happened, right? I don't know. I'll have to think about it. If you guys got any ideas, make sure you comment below. Guys, I really love hearing from you, so like the more you guys comment, like, subscribe, all that stuff, you give me ideas, and the more I'll do it. That's just a lot of the times that I just don't know what to do. Sometimes I just kind of can't focus, can't come up with a good idea. It gets kind of stressful and takes the fun out of it, but the more ideas you guys give me to do this, the more and more I'll do it. That's just how it is. I get so busy and work. By the time it's the end of the day, like, I want to shoot the video, like, I love making videos. It's just what it is. It's just when you're looking at the screen for 12 hours, or 10 to 12 hours, and then trying to look at the screen to edit something up, my eyes get shot. So it's just tiring. So, but yeah. And as I get better, I'll be quicker. But like with thumbnails and stuff, I can pump out a thumbnail real quick now. So, which is a benefit. But that's taken a little while to get used to Photoshop and doing all that stuff. You know. I'm awesome at games if the winner is first to die. Lap the IHS and the die, or just the IHS. Just the IHS. I don't think I'm gonna. I don't know. Maybe we could probably. I don't know. I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna do this, but I'm definitely lapping this chip because I'm intrigued. Because I feel like a lap job will make it way better. I just feel like there's something off. I feel like a lot of the times when they solder these CPUs, the IHS kind of warps. So if I can sand that down, I also have to sand this pot too, so that way both are flat. So it's not just one; it's actually both. So, but after that, I don't know. Maybe we'll test we'll know what the chip does. I'll test a couple more times like this, even after we're done. But then we'll do lapped and see how much of a difference it makes. And I don't know. I think that would be a fun stream because then maybe we can see 7 gigahertz, stuff like that. It's always fun. What about OC GPU? Is it harder actually? I don't know what you mean. You mean GPU overclocking? 4 minutes, 17 seconds. Sweet. So we're at 6.1. That's awesome. So we're gonna try 6.2. It's amazing how a reboot helps. So we're at 6.2 now. Now I've heard there's some issues with 6.2. Like there's this weird bug where with the 62 multi that causes some issues sometimes. Wow, look at that. The initial loop is under 3 seconds, which is really big. That's really wild, actually. And all of this is what most people don't realize is that it's Windows 10. Windows 10. We've never really been able to use Windows 10 to even be somewhat competitive. So to see this is pretty epic. And to be honest, I'm pretty stoked even to see like how AMD runs on Windows 10 to kind of compare. So I have a 5800X, I have a 5950X, so we might have to break them in and see how it compares to this single core performance. Because I feel like that would be a really good test. And maybe I'll have to try to find a 59X and see how it matches, because I feel like that's a really good test to test the single core performance. So, East Como, find GPU OC is easier. GPU OC is, it depends, right? So, trying to figure out all the GPU OC stuff yourself is very, very hard. So, like, you'll see what I did with the Strix. The way I did it with the Strix is I did everything. So, it's not like I'm going to ask Kingpin for a BIOS to run on there. That's the simple way to do things. I'm actually going through and testing to make sure, see where the limitation is. Try to find where that limit is and how to beat it. That's why I'm behind like Jay-Z right now. If I were to take a KP card, even a retail card, because my card's retail, it's probably the fastest retail in the world. But yeah, like it's a way different thing. If I were to take a King KP and then go bench with it, I'm gonna, of course, trash a bunch of guys. But that's not fun to me. That's not interesting. Interesting is taking something that nobody else can do and doing it. And that's not really what they're doing on the GPU OC side. So, is it harder? Yes. But they're making it easier for you by buying a KP card or buying a Galaxy card. But the thing that you guys don't understand there is that to maintain temperatures is way more difficult on the GPU side than it is this. Like you see, I'm barely pouring. This is the easier side of pouring liquid nitrogen. So a lot of people have an easier time this way and say it's harder way harder on the GPU side because you're going through liquid nitrogen I'd be filling these up like every 2 seconds, just going up and go every single time. And that, to be honest, it gets exhausting after a while. So it's kind of nice to do something like this that's a little bit easier. Oh, Mr. Ginger, keep up the good work. Thanks, broski, for the $10. I try. Let's get those likes up. I want to see a 6900 XT under LN2 pulling all those watts. So I want to do. So I owe you guys 6900 XT. So in the next, we're gonna have to do something with it, but I gotta get some play time with it. So I'm gonna try to take some time to play with that. I think we're gonna do some streams on this while I'm getting used to that. I don't know. I'm just gonna try to find as much time as I can to do it because I don't know. Like today, I don't even know how long we've been streaming, but who cares, right? We're having fun. We're playing around. It's just fun. Says, I would love to see a 5950X, trying to get one myself so I can have a 3950 and a 5950 systems. I want the higher IPC. I crave it. So we always crave. Well, the Galaxy and Kingpin cards are like OC training videos. It's true, but the thing is sometimes a lot of the guys don't want to go through all that effort. I don't know if they're just lazy or whatever. But like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm weird like that. I like to make my life harder or more difficult, and overcoming those, I feel like, I don't know. Overcoming those difficulties is like, I feel like what it's about for me. 4 minutes and 14 seconds. Man, this is crazy. To me, this is exciting, just playing with it. I don't care about records. It's about seeing how all the performance that's changed. It's awesome. So what we're going to do is we'll go 6.3. I'm so curious to see, like, if we can hit under 3 minutes, or hit the 3 minute barrier. I'd be ecstatic. That's kind of like, I think what would set this off for me, like saying this was successful. If we can get it underneath the 4 minute barrier, I would say, job done. Jay-Z overclocks. Actually, you guys can give Jay all the shit you want. To be honest, I actually was pretty impressed with what Jay did. He really spent a lot of time. And really all the overclocking is just putting in the time to be able to figure things out. And he did a really good job, so you can't knock Jay for anything at all. I actually want to commend him for doing such a damn good job. Oh, let's see. I'm so cool, huh? Well, thanks, broski. I do it for you guys. You guys enjoy it so much. So you guys keep enjoying it, and I'll keep doing it. That's how we roll here. I know, it really does seem to be really happy at 1.75. It was pretty crazy that we didn't actually get it. I know, I like this track, too. This is, Sightless in Shadow, Mosh Pit Madness. So this is some hardcore stuff. Alright, so where are we at right now? So, minus 145. Man, 175 seems to be that sweet spot. Why is the stream warm colored? So, it's warm colored because the lighting I have over here are set to more, they're just set that way. So, I don't like when they're set to like full whiteness. It doesn't look that great over there. Yeah. Let's see. Why is the stream warm colored? The track is so sick. Have you been running the 3090 Strix for your XOC? I have a 3090 Strix, but have yet to stretch it. Like, yeah, if you look on Port Royal, I don't know, it's probably like 12th to 13th place. I haven't even looked at it anymore. But yeah, that's where I was running the 3090 Strix on the XOC. If you combine it with Elmore Labs, the little EVC2, that thing's pretty dope. You can pretty much control the card, all the voltages and everything from that little box. So you basically connect it through I2C. So you can basically just connect. You don't even have to solder it technically. If you watch my one video, it shows you how to do it. If you really want to get into the crazy XOC, you're still gonna have to shunt mod it a little bit. So you're gonna have to basically do the shunts. From what I heard is you could just short the shunts, but I put a bunch of little resistors on it. So I'm super stoked that Vegas just stepped into the studio. Okay, holy shit, you're actually doing a video. You guys love to bust me just for doing videos, right? You guys know I do a lot. I know, I gotta keep on doing more stuff for you guys. Trust me, I kind of feel guilty all the time. It's kind of weird being a YouTuber. What they don't tell you about being a YouTuber is how much... It's a weird thing, because like, I enjoy it. I feel guilty when I don't do videos. But it's kind of draining. Like, it's extremely draining. And it basically almost... I don't know, I've heard a lot of guys like say that like it kind of almost depresses them. It's like if we don't do good enough for you guys to really like it, that it's kind of like it becomes exhausting. So sometimes we need to take breaks, and really I just needed a nice break, because then we can just do a bunch of epicness. And to be honest, I'm having a blast today. It doesn't matter how many people come and watch or anything. I'm just having a good time doing my thing. This is what I do. So, I'm enjoying it, and man, 4 minutes and 2 seconds on that loop 24. We're getting so close. 4 minutes and 10 seconds. I can't believe it's still running since we couldn't get 6 gig before. Crazy. It's amazing how much a reboot. So let's go to 6.4. Run it again. Get some cold on there. While that's running, Stig, what's up, bud? Thanks for the $50, bro. I'll read it in a second. Let's see. I just went in the bathroom and there sat my lady watching your stream while she... Oh, jeez. Well, you have fun, man. Jeez. You guys kill me sometimes. Chuck Sanders, don't listen, rather. Sorry, need more caffeine. I know, I need caffeine. Oh, man. I can't even make up this stuff sometimes. Well, tell your wife I said hi. Oh, was it pixelated? You guys are killing me. So it looks like we're doing pretty good. We're on loop 6. So if you guys are new to the stream, we are running at 6.4 gigahertz. We have the cache at 4.6. We haven't even tried cache right now, which is pretty epic because a lot of the times you get a lot from cache. I don't know if that's different with this one. I'm trying not to keep it around the 145 range. See what we're doing. This reminds me of another cup of coffee. I need another cup of coffee. So what version of Windows 10 are you running on this? So I'm running Windows 10, the newest version. So if you were to go download Windows 10 right now, I usually run the Windows N versions. So they're stripped down. They don't have all the media stuff. And then this is not even a stripped down version. I want to go over a video with you guys. I was basically, there's a product called, it's not even a product, it's a bunch of PowerShell scripts. So you have what's called Windows Debloater. I'm a big fan of it. I've been playing around with it. It's actually pretty damn cool. So if you guys want to, if you have your, and what's cool is you can use it on your daily systems too. That's one of the reasons what I've had a hard time of stripping an OS for you guys, is because I don't want you guys to take it, like stripping is good for like a bench OS, but it gets very difficult when you're, to strip an OS that you're going to use for daily stuff. Because the more you take out, then like if once you need it, then you're in trouble. So what's cool about it is Windows Debloater, well basically it's like a PowerShell script where you can take things out and then add things back in. I didn't even actually run it on this one. I ran it on the other, I had a couple setups for testing this. And I don't know, it was actually, my one setup was really slow. I think it was an older Windows 10 version, but doing a new Windows 10 install seemed to fix the issue, and so I haven't touched the bloater yet. So it might, the bloater might actually cause some issues. I just haven't tested it. But it's great for like a daily system because you just run it, and you can undo what you ran too. So like if it's causing an issue, you just undo it. Rain drinks. The rain drinks are pretty damn good. I try to stay away from the energy drinks anymore. I just found that I was actually, like, I needed more and more as I go with them. So I made it, like, a thing a couple months ago to stop drinking so much Red Bull. I had a Red Bull yesterday for the first time in, like, probably, like, a month and a half. So I try to keep it down. It's not the most healthiest thing. I'll drink a cup or 2 cups of coffee maybe a day now. But trying to get it from, when you drink a lot of those caffeine drinks and then going to not doing it, you get headaches and I hate all that crap. It sucks when you basically, you're going through that caffeine withdrawal. I mean, it kills you. Would you use Windows? No, I'm saying I use Windows Debloater on my regular PC. I'm saying you guys should too. Oh, 4 minutes and 7 seconds. Man, we're gonna hit 3 minutes. I'm excited. I think Stig's wife's excited too. Oh my god. I can't make this stuff up. So let's try 6.5. So we're going to try 6.5 gigahertz. It's funny, we went up 500 megahertz from that one. It's kind of crazy. So what's this voltage control software? This is Gigabyte. So back in the day, they were pretty much the first ones to come with like just a overclocking software that was like simple stripped down. It's we call it GTL, so Gigabyte Tweaker Launcher. We just call it GTL, so you just call it GTL. But yeah, this was the first one. Asus actually joined in after. So Gigabyte had this first. Asus came out with the Turbo V, right? This is actually, I think, a little bit more slimmed down than even Turbo V. But I love when they do stuff like this. MSI has their own version that, I don't know, it seems hard to get. But I like these, because everything you need is all in one place. Like, you don't have to, like, search around. Like, one of the worst ones, I think, is ASRock's. Like, they have their utility. I can't stand it. Like, I always ask them, because I'm a software developer, too. So I was like, dude, just give me the source code. I'll modify it. I'll make it better. Just give it to me. And they would never give it to me. Which was always frustrating, because I'm like, I'll do the work for free. Most of the time, clients pay me lots of money to do this, and I'm going to do it for free. For free. But I don't know. That's just how motherboard companies are. They don't seem to want to to do stuff like that. I don't know if they don't understand or whatever, but I drink 7 to 10 cups of coffee. My goodness, that's a little bit much, man. You might want to dial that back. You're overclocking a little bit too high. Too high voltage. Smaller footprint and lower internal timers play a huge role in picking up freeform performance. Yeah, you want to kind of slim down, like, you got to be careful though. Like, if you slim down too much, like if you like take too much out, that's one of the biggest problems. Like when you strip down an OS, is you'll take something out and it actually has the adverse effect where like it literally take you like months to go through and find every little piece. That's why there's a lot of Windows XP OSs out there, but they're getting harder and harder to run on the newer systems. There's so many workarounds depending on which motherboard manufacturer you use. And even the motherboard manufacturers have been to the point where it's like, we don't really even want to support Windows XP. Why would you want to support Windows XP when Microsoft doesn't even support Windows XP? So it's kind of one of those things where it's coming towards the end of life that you need to basically, I don't know, we need to kind of get rid of XP. And it sucks to say, but it's too much of a pain to even get XP working most of the time anymore. You have to do all these hacks and workarounds, and then you got to find out the combination of what memory you can run, and then you got to figure out what WASA file you got to do. To be honest, I like how it's in Windows 10 because now I can show you. One of the biggest reasons that I wasn't showing 32M to you guys because it's complicated to set up. So you guys, if you guys want to try to run it yourself, you're just going to get crap, right? So that's what's nice about it now. So now I can show you this. So that's my thinking behind it. Man, I'm starting to like lose my voice, I feel like. Azrak, don't want you to fix it because then people will expect them to fix all their programming. Yeah, and I think they need a little bit more help than that for a lot of the stuff. I don't know what it is to some of these mainboard manufacturers. Some of their software is pretty bad. Especially if you look at like some of the RGB stuff. Oof. Oh, let's see. So we're at 6.5 gigahertz now. At 1.75 volts, we're at about what? Minus 145 Celsius on the pot. Now that's right on the pot. Like there's a hole drilled in the side, and the probe is put in. Look at that. So 4 minutes and 3 seconds. That's pretty amazing. So usually what you have to do, now I'm just going to do this because if you want to have like a legit result, you need to make sure that you actually do like a screenshot, a proper screenshot, right? So what's cool about this is that we can do this. So that way if you want to submit on HWBot, this is what we need to validate, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an actual validation. So that way we have a legit score that we can put up on Membot. Or Membot. HWBot. Ah! I think we failed. Of course, it's when I want to do... This is the problem with the screenshotting stuff. I don't know what happened. We hung! Alright, so I think what we're gonna... Yeah. Finally reset. And I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna go into BIOS. So we did fail. Of course we failed when I do a screenshot of all things. It's pretty typical. Like, I can't tell you how many world records that I've had like that, and then all of a sudden, like, you try to get this screenshot, and it basically goes to crap. So... it's pretty typical. So we're going to reboot again, and we're going to try to... I want to get that 3-minute barrier. Like, beating is crazy. Oh, 8-core, 8-thread, why not hyper-threading? So this is a great question, too. So single performance is basically... I don't really want to use hyper-threading. To be honest, it might be a point to test, but I don't think we're going to test that now. Because hyper-threading, technically, I'm not... A lot of times we isolate the core when we run it, but what I've noticed with Benchmade, you don't necessarily, it gets worse of a score if you isolate the actual core itself. So I'm wondering if I do hyper-threading and say limit all the amount. Usually we limit it so that way you get faster performance, less heat, stuff like that. Oh, wrong one. No, Ryzen's what I want to know. It will be good for upcoming games. I have Ryzen 5, 3600. That should be fine. To be honest, it's hard to go wrong with any of the new CPUs anymore. I mean, you really have to be... They're so close in performance. It's really one of those things where you can't go wrong. But the problem is you really can't get much. You're limited on what you can get. So if you want to get an Intel system, that's fine. If you want to get a Ryzen system, that's fine too. It's just a matter of what you can get and what you want. You got lots of options. I mean, I guess you don't really have options because it's so hard to buy an AMD chip. I mean, it took me forever to even try to get a 5950X. So, all right, let's see if we're still good on this. I'm gonna run 6.5 again just to. Oh no, I think we might finally be done. We're locking up. This isn't good. Of course, it's right at that moment where I want to hit 3 minutes and I'm not going to be able to do it. This is my luck all the time. This is how it is. No. Poor Daniel. It'll be okay. I can go for days when I'm away from my coffee maker, so I'm not addicted. You know what? That's kind of normal, actually. I feel like I'm the same way. Like, if I'm here stuck in my house, I'm gonna go like. Well, hold on. Let me make sure that this that setting actually worked. So I had set a couple voltages for the liquid nitrogen. I was talking with Dino earlier. He was on. Yeah, so they're all set. Just want to make sure they're set. I think the paste. I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna heat up the paste. I'm gonna fire it up to probably about a minus 100 to see if maybe we can get some of the paste back. Because I have a feeling since we rebooted, it caused the paste to go to crap. So. Alright, so the reason why I just torched it there is because I think the paste is a little bit weak right now. Now, when we stopped running the benchmark and we tried to get it going, a lot of the times that can cause issues. I was just trying to do it so that way we were technically official, because people get all crying about like, oh, well, it's not validated, then that doesn't mean it's right. And I don't know. I just hate people that complain. Of course, I'm always fighting for them. Alright, so where are we at now for temp wise? So we're at 104, we're going to go back up. I think what I'm going to do though is, I'm just going to run it to keep it hot for now. So it's just going to be, I'm going to pull it down back to minus 145. Have you ever messed with any phase changer CPU? Yes. So, okay, so to give you a little history, and here's the thing. So I've been doing this probably for 14 years now. So I've done water cooling systems, I've done pelt systems like the cryo, I've done single stage phase change systems on CPU, I've done single stage on GPU. I've also had a cascade, which is basically two. Basically, how it works is you have one single stage, and then you have another stage that cools the single stage to make it even cooler, which it can bring down to about minus 110C and to minus 120C. It depends on the load that it has to fight. But then you can only go about minus 120C, so it's kind of pointless. It's loud, obnoxious, it uses a lot of electricity. I've used dice. I just wish I took a lot of video. I didn't really start doing video stuff until maybe like 2017. Like I used to never take pictures. I never used to do anything. Like it just was not my thing. I had to learn most of that. So like all of the camera gear and all this stuff is really new. Complaining about complainers. That's right, Shane. Right. So what do we got here? So let's see, what temp are we at? Minus 125. Get it cooling a little bit more. Okay, we got liquid nitrogen in there. We want to get it to a right about like where we were before. So I'm gonna kill this. I'm gonna go 175 seemed to be like the sweet spot. So we'll go, I'm just going to do like a quick run at 6 gigahertz or 60 just to keep the pace going. And then what I'll do is I'll switch it right to 6.5 and then we'll move up again. So I feel like paste is key. Like paste is usually the biggest pain in the butt. It's kind of annoying. Let's take some questions again. Says, have you ever met? Yep, we did that one. 5600, 5700 in Sydney, but no R9 and no R9 3000. 3000. That's crazy. I like some Ramstein if it would back you up. Okay, have to go to dinner. Is ready. See you later, Egg 44. Joe's complaining about people complaining. Damn son, bearded hardware. I want to know what is the normal CPU and GPU temp. What do you mean? What is the normal CPU and GPU temp? Are you talking about 11900K? It's very similar to the 10900K. Like I maybe a little bit less in some spots, a little bit more in others. Well, my Floridian brother, I'm a new grandfather, and grandson need me. I hope little Odin is doing well. Keep up the good work, brother. Mortal Wizard, you have fun spending time with your grandson, because that's the best time of all. I know, I get spoiled right now because I want to hang out with my son all the time. It's awesome. That's cool, Joe. Would like to see more on phase changers and mineral oil. Not enough content on those. Would be cool to see. Oh, wow. Gaming. I don't have... basically, I'm just giving you benchmarks. I haven't really run it with gaming, so I'm going to have to go through and maybe do some games. I just haven't had too much time. And I wasn't really sure what to show. Like, do you have a... Here's a good question for you guys. So this goes for everybody. Comment below... What games do you like to see? Because I always see a bunch of other YouTubers put up all these bunch of games, and I only play certain games. So, I don't know. What games would you like to see? What recommendations of games do you like? I mean, you tell me what you guys want to see. That's the easier approach. And instead of me trying to guess and put things out there, you guys tell me what you like. And then I'll do it. Because that's, I don't know. I only have a certain amount of time, so I hate wasting time. I absolutely hate it. Alright, so we're running. This could be good. I gotta get under 4 minutes. Ooh, Rainbow Six. That was actually one of my favorite ones. I've always wanted to play Red Dead Redemption 2. That game just looks off the hook to me. I just haven't had time. I'm gonna have to download it and do it. And what I'll do, maybe I'll set up a gaming box with this. I can use the hero, and maybe I'll do a stream like that. Maybe we'll do a gaming stream one time. It's always the same food. Yeah, but I feel like they always overdo it. So like if you just want to see a couple games, and I don't know, like here's my thing. Like I have a problem. Like so if one YouTuber puts out one, and then another YouTuber puts the same benchmarks out, like do you guys really even look at it? Because I always find it, like, if I see, like, Gamers Nexus put out the one, and I'm like, oh, okay. Why should I do that and put that out, too, you know? I don't know. It just seems interesting. Do CSGO, like, with overclocked RAM, maybe single versus dual. Well, that's a good idea. I love CSGO. That's, like, one of my favorite. My main game... Oh, Rocket League's even fun. But I actually played it on the Switch. That's funny, Jasper, you say that, because I actually played it on the Switch. I have like PS3. I play with everything, man. It all depends on what games. Like baseball games, I can only get on PlayStation, so I play that. Um, but yeah. All right. So this one's about to finish. Then we're gonna jump up to 6.5, and then we'll get back up on it again. Borrow the RoboClocker from KP for your gaming. Well, the RoboClocker was very difficult to work with, I guess you can say. It's not like difficult, like because you don't have to pour. It's more or less the setup on it, because you know how with water cooling, like you have all this setup time and stuff like that. It's very similar, and then you gotta set it up and break it down all the time. So, it says you gotta ask yourself, does any YouTube do benchmarks for days? I don't know. You'd be surprised. Usman, I don't think you need to do gaming. I know. Well, the thing is, I don't need to do the gaming numbers, but the thing is it would be nice to do just for something different, you know. A lot of the times, guys, I get bored. It's just how I am, man. If I'm not interested in something, then it's like pulling teeth, like trying to I don't know, like do something on it. So that's why I try to do something that I enjoy, do something fun, you know. Because we only have a short time on this earth. So if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right, and you might as well do it fun. That is my, whole look on life. Like, if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it? Make it fun. Find a way to make it fun. I said, oh, thought you meant to actually play, not just bench. No, I would actually play. It says, benchmark games that you like, hopefully something different than everything else. So, well, yeah. I don't know. The problem is trying to, you know what it is I need to sit down and actually play some of the newer games and play more games. My one buddy has been busting me about it. He's like, yo, you never play. He's like, I want to play. We should play. I'm like, okay. Yeah, I feel like we could do so. I don't know. I feel like we could come up with some, I don't know. I have some ideas. I don't want to give out too much. I might have to. So, again, like I said before, if you want to support the channel, you want to have interaction with me, my group, join Patreon, get into the Discord, start talking. We have a great group there. But it's a lot where I like to talk, and I want to actually talk a lot about a lot more things there instead of going public. Like, I can talk more private on things there. I feel like I'm limited sometimes at what I can say. So going in there is a good place to have it. And that supports the channel more than anything. Not just money-wise, but more, it's more of like a, I don't know, social aspect. Uh-oh. I don't know, guys. I think, damn it, I hit the wrong button. Safe boot button. Says, the Starship SN11 exploded today. Why the hell launch in foggy weather? Elon must have been smoking that green again. Who knows, man? I'm interested to see. I kind of want to see what is going on there. I'm a big Elon Musk follower. There's something. Usman Sheikh. What's the Discord like? I have no idea. You know. Don't give me that. My 3 best games of all time is Red Dead. So you really like Red Dead 2. That means I definitely got to play that. Detroit Becomes Human? What is that? I don't know, guys. I think what I might do is just torch it again. And then we try to pull down so that way I can have some heat on there. We're going to go down to minus 50, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make it go all the way cold. We're just going to test it out, because, who knows? I think we're pretty much almost done. The setup is kind of getting wet all over, so we might have to call it soon. We don't want to kill stuff, because then we won't be able to do another stream. Alright, now we're just going to dump cold. What I'm going to do is set the voltage high, though. So we'll do 1.75 again. Maybe I'll set 1. We'll just do what I set before, because that seemed to be like really nice, work well. We want to have that heat that's going against it to help. So I'm gonna do 175. We'll do, what's the temp? So we're not at 100 yet. So let's go. Oh, you got this. Get you playing the data center here on the big screen. Nice. Nothing wrong with the big data center big screens. We used to do that all the time when I used to run a couple of those. Has there been a 32M score set? Yes, we're pretty much at, I think we're at 4 minutes 1 second. But the setup's kind of going, so we're probably on our last runs, but I'm going to go crazy and just go set it high to see if it works. So we're going to go 65. Nah, it's done. It failed right away. Yeah, I think we're going to have to call it on. So we're going to end up having to heat up and stuff, but we still got some time. Yeah, so we did really good. We almost hit that 3 minutes break. So we did 4 minutes and I think 1 second. I would check, but it's failing right now. Yeah. I think it needs to be dried off. It's wet. We're kind of screwed on it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably just torch it up. And take it apart and see how the mount is. So if you guys want to keep on checking that out. We still got some time. I'm not leaving you. I'm not just going to shut down the stream yet. So don't worry. Here, what we're going to do. Yeah, because the setup is kind of shot. So what we're going to do is we're just going to heat it up. What's your favorite breed of dog? Mutt. No joke. So I have a mutt. She's a black lab. What is it? Beagle mix. Beagles are one of my favorite breed. Almost down to 4 minute flat. Man, I really wish it. So that means we're definitely going to have another stream on this, because I did not break my 4 minutes. So, did you make that mount yourself? No, this mount stuff is all basically devoured. This is pretty much everything that comes with it. Huh. Hemorast. That's pretty interesting, to absorb water as it condenses, though I don't think I've seen anybody do that. Probably would be great for the fans, though. Sodium polyrica. I don't even know how to say it, but... do is I'm going to heat it up to positive 20. So you never want to pull the pot off on a frozen chip. So you never want to basically go and pull a pot. You want to heat it up to, I always heat my stuff up to about plus 20°C. And what this does is that it gives you a chance to, if you have the pot frozen, it actually bonds with the paste and bonds to the CPU. So when you pull off, you could break something. I've seen people try to pull off the pot and like actually break the socket. I've seen people where they do it with memory and they actually break the memory hold down. You never want to do that. So you always want to heat up to about 20°C. Once you get that pot up to about 20°C, it's going to stay there and it's going to heat up. So you're going to see it like it, because it's a big thick metal, right? So now it's going up to like 30°C. So you can see that I'm not touching it anymore, but still it's heating up and heating up. So I'll do it at 20°C and then it just goes all the way up. Now, this is a new pot for me. Like I said, this is the Bowers Beast pot. This is an old pot, so I just got it. I bought it off a friend. And because I really wanted this pot. I really liked it, and I had an opportunity to buy one, so I said, I'm going to get it. So I was very happy with buying this. Whoa. I think Roman did some really great engineering in here. He pushed the envelope. I feel like a lot of the other guys just, I don't know, pot designs had been, I don't know, very stagnant, I guess you can say. Here, let me get a better view on here. That way you guys can see better. Ugh. So what's cool about this pot is you have two pieces, right? So you could use it like this, but you also have like this. So I should get that pot. Okay. The problem is you can't find this pot. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem. You can't find this pot because they were all sold out. And I don't think he's making this one again. I don't know. He might be coming out with a new design. So what Roman told me is that in a couple months, but in Roman talk, that could be a year. Because anytime he would ship something, he'd be like, yeah, I just sent it out. And then like you wait 3 months later and you get it. So that's why I always bust on him about it. But he does really good work though. So I really do like the engineering on it. So I highly recommend it if you want to get into it. But yeah. So far, I'm a huge fan. The only thing I don't like about it is it doesn't fit Threadripper, which is really not a downfall. It's made for the smaller platforms like this. So I like his Threadripper pot. It's amazing. I need one. Hopefully I can get one of those when he makes some more of them, though. So we'll see. Because you know we'll be testing Threadripper, too. I actually I got some news of some cool stuff for Threadripper, so we'll be doing that one too. Yeah, there's a lot of drippy water. You want to be careful. So you don't want to, it's okay that water's getting on the board now. Like, we don't have to necessarily, here, make some room so you can see better. So you're going to see water all over, and that's okay. As long as you want to cut power. Make sure there's no power going anywhere. I'll just show you kind of what I do every time. You should make a cat edition on 2-pot. I got a Maximus 5 Extreme to my test bench, so I'm excited to play with it when I get some time. My 2700 is an EVJ. Wow. Yeah, I have a lot of videos, and this hardware is cool. But that Cryonut ain't got nothing on KP. I know, dude. To be honest, the day I found out about, so I would use Cryo and just play around with it. Yeah, Star Citizen's that space program, right? But yeah, I was playing with Cryo, this is what I was doing. I was actually testing, and I was testing with Cryo, and I didn't realize, I'll just grab paste. I have lots of paste, right? So I'll just grab whatever's there. Or I used to do that. So when I did that, I put the paste down, and all of a sudden I went to, I was like, what's going on here? Like, I knew that my clocks, so I think I was benching like a 9900K, and I was benching at like 5.4. And I knew that chip was a really good chip, so I used to bench it all the time. And I knew it did that on air, so I didn't realize when I put the Cryo on, I was like, I couldn't figure out what's going on. I thought I degraded the chip. So I ended up playing it, I'm like, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together for a long time that it was actually the paste. So I just happened to switch to Cryo, and all of a sudden I got all the normal clocks. I was able to bench 5.4 again. Before, I was only doing 5.3. I couldn't do 5.4. So I was like, what the hell happened? So I thought my chip had degraded, and no. All I did was switch the paste to KPX, the blue stuff, and sure enough, I was able to do 5.4 again. And man, I don't know. It was kind of depressing, because it was like, how many times have I done that and not noticed? Because I'll try to save paste sometimes, so I'll use a cheaper one and then not have it. It's just, what is this? At least Elite Dangerous doesn't have to sell. I think I bought a bunch of Star Citizen ships like a couple years ago. I would say it has been a while. It's been a long time. All right. So yeah, mount looks like shit if you See, I'll show you guys in a second. For some reason, hold on. I got everything caught here. I want to dump the water out. I want to show you guys this. So, I don't know why it's so hard for that meter. All right. So you'll see right here, that's a shitty mount. So you can tell that it's pretty much going from one side to the other. Something is off. And it's like this every single time. So you'll see in here, like, you see how it goes like the one side? Something's messed up on the IHS itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up lapping the chip. So I'm going to end up doing a video on that. That'll probably be the first video, which we'll probably release next week. And what I'll do is I'll lap this and I'll lap this. And then we'll compare to what this is. So a lot of what benchers do is we'll look at the mount itself and kind of compare. This is a really bad mount, so this is probably why I need so much voltage to compensate, because I'm not getting basically a good mount. So that kind of proves it, because that's the same thing that I got on pretty much every water cooling one. So this IHS must be just extremely off, which I've seen before. It's kind of known on the bigger chips, like the 18 cores, 16 cores. Man. So what I missed? Paste crack. Yeah, the setup's kind of done now. We've went down. We were doing about almost 6.6 gigahertz before it failed. I was trying to validate at like 6.5. We basically ran 32 SuperPi 32M, and we were pretty much at that point where we're about to break 4 minutes and get into the 3-minute barrier, which is awesome. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. Hold on, let me get, that's a great question. But yeah, so ever since I tried to validate, I don't know, it just went to crap. So basically, I was trying to validate just so that we can have a score on HWBot, so people aren't saying that, oh, that's not a valid score or stuff like that. And of course, when I did that, the paste ended up cracking, and from there we had to do a reboot, and then it just caused a bunch of issues. So we're going to end up having to stop there as far as doing the board. But I'm showing you other stuff of kind of like what I do when I break down and do stuff. So what we're going to do is going to pop out the memory, see how wet they are. And they're actually pretty dry, not too bad, which is a good thing. I'm using the socket heater, so Kingpin Cooling, they have a socket heater. So I was using that. The next thing we got to try too, so one of the cool things about this platform that I didn't show you yet, because this was the first session of liquid nitrogen I did on this board. So what I want to do next is basically put liquid nitrogen on memory too. This platform is a lot about memory and single core performance. So I feel like if we put liquid nitrogen on mem, we're really gonna have some fun. So, but yeah, it looks like we're pretty much wet. It's not that bad though. The board's relatively dry for what it is, but that mount we got to do something about. So, like you can even tell. Let me make sure. Let me just do this real quick. Get some of the water. Usman, check it later, broski. Alright, so if you look on here, I don't know how much you guys can see, but if you look on here, that mount is terrible. That's our issue. So I'm not really going to bench anymore until I fix that. So what we're going to end up doing is I'll end up heating this up. I'm going to take the chip out. And I'm going to sand the chip so that way it's perfectly flat. But not only am I going to do the chip, I'm also going to do the pot too. Because if you look, it looks terrible. That's like one of the worst mounts I've seen in a long time. That's Roman's beautiful engineering. You can see how it's actually all on the side. It's basically, it's pretty damn good engineering. So, but guys, I think this is pretty much going to be it. I'm exhausted. We've been going probably for like 4 or 5 hours, but so we were able to do at least 6.5 gigahertz. Next session, I guarantee you, will be better. Once we figure out and get this mount issue corrected, I think we're gonna be I don't know. I have more comfort that 7 gigahertz is possible now that if we can fix this mount issue. Once we fix the mount issue, 7 gigahertz, here we come. The clamp. I don't think the clamp is that. No, it's hard to see. I can't show on camera, but the clamp is actually lower than the actual IHS itself. So it's kind of a pain in the butt. Would you consider soldering the IHS? It's too difficult to try to solder that to a chip without damaging it, and then you got to remove it. It's just one of those things that's maybe a little bit too difficult, you know. But what we're going to do is I'm going to shoot a video, so that will be our next thing on the schedule. So what we'll do is I'll sand both these, and because we already know what it does now, so what we can do is sand it down, and then maybe we'll do a stream, or maybe I'll just do it on a video. I'll do a quick session to see how good it is, and then maybe we'll do a stream to see how far we can get. I think maybe that's going to probably be the better one. How much performance difference is R3600 and 10900K? That's a good question. I haven't really tested a 3600 in a while. I lurked, but good stream, Slacker. Kyle, thanks, broski. Well, come around next time. Make sure you talk more. Lurkers are fun, but it's always a pleasure to have you guys come and talk to me. So, remember, make sure you join Patreon if you want to support the channel. If you need help doing water, doing anything, you want to get into liquid nitrogen stuff, join Patreon, man. It's much easier to ask me questions there. Plus, we have a good group of guys and girls over there that are very helpful for a lot of different aspects. If you want to try to get into liquid nitrogen overclocking, I'm there. I can help you out. I have a couple guys in there that have been doing it for a long time. They know how to do it too. So, but yeah, I'm always trying to help there as much as I can. I try to only go there a certain amount of times because I want to try to do more content for you. So if I spend too much time in there, then I can't do other time and other stuff. So. But, yeah, we're going to have a stream. We're going to have a video next, and then we'll have a stream. So, figure by next week. I'm going to try to push something out rather quick. But let's see how it goes. Because it's only, what, Tuesday? So, maybe by the weekend we'll have... I think by the weekend we'll have a video. And then what we'll do is next week we'll have a stream. So, what I'll do is I'll do the video on lapping, and then we'll have a stream. I'll do a quick test, and I'll show that in the video. And then we'll do the stream again to see how much we can improve. And then we'll talk about doing some other benchmarks and stuff. So make sure you guys like and subscribe. Not much else I can do or tell you. But yeah, guys. Yeah, it was a great session. I'm really surprised about the single core performance. I didn't know it was going to be this good. Like I said, I'm really surprised. Most people are saying now with the AMD versus Intel, the single core performance is the main aha moment for this. Multi-core, it's lacking because you don't have that many cores. There's not much you can do about that unless you're adding cores. But for gaming, stuff like that, single core performance, the 11900K really shines. So, all right, guys, you guys have a good one. You guys make sure you have a good day, and I'm going to probably pass out because I'm tired. I'm exhausted. It's been a great time, though. Guys, make sure you guys come back for the next one. We're going to have some cool stuff. I think we're going to start throwing in some other cool stuff, too. So we're going to do a bunch of different electronic stuff. I feel like I have another e-board type stuff coming. I'm going to build a custom e-board that does like 35 to 40 miles an hour. I figured... seeing my 300-pound size on a e-board doing 35 miles an hour has got to be good, right? So, but anyway, I'll take you guys later, and yeah. Thanks for coming, and make sure you guys don't slack too much, and you guys rock. So, yeah, slacker out.